nobody gets spoiled as well.
Oh yeah, because I guess I could click the notification, but
Yeah, but just in case, I'd say better to do that.
All right, so y'all like my wallpaper is set up just for this?
I mean, it's from a better period of time, I suppose.
where are
Yeah,
you streaming it?
on the 5-9 Gaming
Okay.
here.
What is it on Twitch?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's on Twitch.
Oh, okay.
then we'll edit up and turn to a video later. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, you know what? I think I need this in a way. This is like a therapy session.
Yeah.
Let loose, let it all go. Let it all go.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's so sad. Like legitimately, like I was watching like scenes like about a week ago with Choco. I was like, man, I'm about to cry because it's just like I love this series so much, and then this is what it led to.
Bro, I remember when Choco told me like the spoilers were happening while I was streaming, and I was like, no way, it can't be that bad.
Yeah,
I shouldn't have said that. I should not have said that.
yeah. It's the AOT stream, yes sir. We're just gonna give it a
Yep.
minute for people to get in here so we can tell them, look, don't be a dumbass and stay here if you haven't read the manga. Okay, don't get spoiled.
Well, unless you really want to get spoiled and you just want to give up on the series, which
Yeah, unless you would save
Or
That's
yourself
on you.
time.
I just want to hear Ignat and I yell at each other.
probably, yeah, that's also an alternative.
Well, yell with each other.
Should get
Yeah.
one of the super core to tweet it out.
Tag them. No response yet.
Talon's up. He should be able to do it, hopefully.
AOT has a manga. Oh my god.
The wallpaper's sick.
Yeah, it has a nice OST. I would play it, but don't want to
Yeah,
get copyright claimed. Yeah, it's the Trader Scene OST on it.
Oh, okay.
Oh boy.
Oh, Town's getting it perfect.
Sweet.
Yes, when does it start?
And
It's
like
already
right now.
Big
Big man.
Hello, what's up, dudes? What's up? Oh. Alright, so we're just gonna wait to like another 2 minutes, I guess, and then we'll just tell them like spoilers,
Yeah.
and then we can start. Anime folks better leave, yes sir.
For their own happiness, I suppose. Let them be in
AOT has a better ending than Super.
Honestly, I don't even believe that.
Yeah. So yeah, me and Troke were like, man, we really just don't like this ending. Then we were like, what does Alex think about it? Because like we always go to you, and it's like give ourselves validation, pretty much. Then we saw you didn't like. Oh yeah, we're in the right here.
I think we can start off with a bit of just general talk, I suppose. I do think as a series as a whole, it's good. It's just that last impressions matter a lot,
Yeah,
and that's the biggest problem.
First and last impressions are very important.
Yeah.
Like there's people have been talking about like the characters and stuff, but there's like one glaring issue that I think a lot of people don't talk about, and that's how he handled the racism stuff.
Oh.
Yeah.
And like we can get into that, but
Okay,
honestly,
give them 50 more seconds. I feel the creator dropped the hints, but people ignored and just wanted their ending. I mean, nah.
That is indeed the Gaming Claw.
Yes.
Yeah, I have brought him out of retirement just for this stream.
just for the ending of AOT, it was that bad.
Oh man.
I bring Alex out.
Thing.
Yeah, sadly. Hey man, I tried to force you to play tactics. You did for a little bit. Then he was like, Like, to be fair, you know what? Tactics dying was a sign the whole time.
Poor Tactics, man.
Yo, Gaming Cloud, true. It is indeed him. Alright, so 5 minutes up. So, chat, we're going to be talking about major spoilers here. So if you don't want to be spoiled about anything about the ending of AOT and your anime only, I give you like a minute to leave the stream now, and then after that, I guess we can just go ahead and get started. If one of y'all want to just start it off, I mean, I guess we could just
Tell him
try to talk.
in a minute.
Oh, Tyler hasn't tweeted it yet.
Not yet. He should have it in a minute.
Okay, well,
All right.
I'll just reiterate it again. But I guess when we do start, we could kind of just talk about like when we started and all that, because I know people are, oh, y'all just bandwagoners or some crap like
Yeah.
that.
Like, I'll be the first to admit I'm probably the most recent one out of you guys because I started only in 2019 properly because I had watched season 1 and then I didn't enjoy the pacing of it, so I just stopped it. But yeah,
Oh,
like
sad.
I'm more of the I was the more recent one out of y'all, considering all
know,
things said and
A
done.
lot of people don't feel that highly of season 1. I never understood why. I've always liked season 1 for the most part.
I had some issues with just the pacing of it. I feel like that
Yeah.
it felt like it was all over the place at times. But
Yeah.
season 2 improved it quite a bit, I feel, and then season 3 was bang out. Like that was great.
Dude, season 2 is probably still my favorite season.
Yeah, I think in hindsight, season 1 is a lot better because, like, especially production wise, because
Yeah.
because like what they managed to do,
Yeah.
like visually, was just insane.
And to be fair, I think that was also one of Wit Studios' initial works, right? So
I think that was the first one actually.
yeah, so it makes sense that it was kind of all over the place. They still had, they were just starting to work together, getting everybody together and, animators working in collaboration with each other for the first time potentially. It obviously is a different thing, right? So yeah, and then you could obviously see the improvements when season 2 came and whatnot, and what they've been doing with like Vinland Saga and their original works now instead. So
man, I just thought about Historia season 3 and just how that was just like the last we ever really see of her.
Oh man, poor Historia, dude.
Alex knows Historia's always been like my top 1 or 2. She's always been right there with Annie for me, and then the manga just happened.
Bro,
Like,
I cannot believe that the baby stuff went nowhere.
Bro,
what do you mean? It went somewhere. She had a kid. Happy all around. It was a happy ending. Like the thing is, before like the rumbling shit, no one really brought her up. Because we got the baby stuff in like what chapter 107 and 108, and then we see like a panel of her in Erin's memories in 120, but we don't really know what it means. And then in 130, we obviously get the conversation between Erin and Historia, and then she brings up the baby stuff. And then in 134, again, Isayama brings up the baby stuff, and he makes it out to be something bigger when it's not. And like, I can't believe that we didn't get a single literally like almost every single piece of dialogue that we got from Historia, like past the time skip, was through flashbacks.
Yeah.
Able to retweet the AOT people, please. Feels like being in London with hearing 3 Brits talk, with only British people are Alex and Gail.
No, but they think Troko is as well.
Troko is French Canadian, bro.
I'm not French.
You are. You live in Canada. You're just a redneck French man.
Is redneck not a Poggers word anymore?
Man, we don't care. But
yeah, fair enough.
I came from the South either way, so
kind of same.
So I guess
is it like Josh? Is there anything like that you want to talk about specifically?
I kind of want to start off with Annie because you already know I was having the issues with Annie, and then that last chapter just completely just threw it through the roof.
Okay.
Okay, so chat, I'll go ahead and say this now. This is a warning. We are going to be talking about major spoilers because I know some of y'all can't read because you're DBZ fans, and the title's right there. So we're going to talk about major spoilers here. You have about 30 seconds to leave, and after that, we're just going to go ahead and hop into it and just start talking about everything.
Major spoilers.
Yeah, major. I mean, it's literally the ending of the series.
To be honest, all things said and done, I'm not surprised if some of them literally just got spoiled because of how Twitter was raging and
probably.
Yeah, fair. Yeah.
I'll be very surprised.
And I mean, to be fair, when we did our initial reactions, Choco and we may or may not have put a spoilery thing on the thumbnail, so I'm not surprised if they do that. All
right,
they got spoiled by that as well.
Your spoiler queue's up. Let's go ahead and start now. So, I guess we can just go ahead and introduce how we got into the series, just to start it off.
Yeah.
Choco, you want to start?
Yeah, season 1 came out, all the hype. I watched it when I was in grade 7. I bought all the available manga I could at chapters, and then unfortunately I kind of not lost interest with it. But with season 2 being delayed for such a long time, I just kind of forgot about it until about season 3 started getting picked up, and that's when I got back into it. And I'm disappointed that I spent so many years caring about it.
That's sad.
That's not good, man.
All right, Gail.
Yeah, I have a similar sort of history as Choco. Started with season 1 initially, didn't really enjoy it because of the pacing issues that Wit Studio had. At the time, it was obviously their first production. As we were just discussing this prior to starting. And never really found interest in it. And then, I had a lot of friends who were telling me continuously, watch AOT, watch AOT. A lot of streamer friends as well who said the same thing. Kind of, got peer pressured into it finally once I think season 3, part 2 just was wrapping up. And I binged through season 1 and 2 again at the same time. Loved it a lot more at that time because season 2 really, really changed my opinions on it. And then season 3 was an absolute banger.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, since then been really enjoyed it, and then started reading the manga over the last couple of months. And then now I feel like I wasted a lot of time, but at the same time I still really enjoyed the series as a whole. I think I don't regret the time I spent initially, but the ending does leave a bit of a sour taste.
All right, and Alex, you're the one with the most history here.
Well, yeah. Well, I actually think quite a lot of us got into it during season 1.
Oh, really?
And,
So we all just got to season 1.
Yeah, well, and the funny thing is, like, I actually got into it when I was like on holiday, and like I was just, doing holiday shit, and then like basically we were staying in a villa, so like we were basically staying like a different family or whatever, and like one of the kids that lived there was like, "Oh, you should watch this Attack on Titan anime," and at first I thought it was gonna be like some Gundam bullshit, and then I watched the and then I watched the first episode, and it like I was hooked. Like I was actually hooked, and it was just insane to me because like I just didn't expect to get that hook straight away.
Mm-hmm. I hear to
But
do
yeah,
construction in the background.
like even after there was like a massive gap between season 1 and 2, I was like still really invested in it, and I was just constantly waiting for it to come out.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I didn't pick up the manga, but because I don't know, I had something against manga back then, but it was just a series that I always kept close to me, and the fact that and the fact that I always saw it consistently get better, just for it to end like this is like the biggest disappointment.
So I hear you have some construction going on in the background there.
Yeah, I'll mute myself.
All right, so I guess I'll go ahead and do my introduction. Then we start getting into the meat and potatoes. So I started with season 1, pretty much like everyone else here, and like way back in high school. It's been so long at this point, but I was started with season 1, and then I was like attached to the story. I kind of just forgot about it before like season 2 came out. And then when season 2 came out, I was like super hyped. I was losing my mind. And then season 2 is still my favorite season to this day, I think. And so I watched season 2, and then they got to a part where like I would say like Historia. I forgot exactly what happened. It's like something with Historia, and I was like, I can't wait for the next episode. So I started reading like the next couple of chapters of the manga, and then I let season 2 finish. And then I didn't really get fully into the manga until like the ending of season 3-ish. So like once season 3-ish came out, I started reading the manga, and then I pretty much would wait like probably like 4 or 5 chapters to catch up to it. And then like last year, the year before, is when I really just like completely caught up to everything and just stayed caught up for the most part. And it's just kind of sad investing 8 years of your life into a series just for the end to kind of be this disappointment. But I'm not going to starve myself like I've seen some people talking about on Twitter and they haven't eaten for 3 days and stuff like that. But I was very sad when I saw the ending. But overall, I still enjoyed the series. Like I could go back and rewatch seasons 1 through I'll probably watch 4 when it's finished. But like it's still overall enjoyed the series. I'll probably give it's 7 out of 10 overall since the ending was just so bad. But yeah, so I guess that's pretty much our introduction to it. So let's go ahead and who wants to start this off?
All right,
I
fuck
think-
Flock, dude.
Oh
I
my.
refuse to believe that could ever happen. Gaming Clock, please. I need you to explain to me, how did Flock's death make any sense whatsoever? For him to get into that hangar, coming through the side door. I need to know.
Well, to be honest, like I don't necessarily have that big of an issue with that. And I actually think he had a good death, especially when you compare it to like some of the shit that we got in the more recent chapters. Like I think Flock is probably one of the most overlooked characters post time skip just because of how much of an asshole he is. But he genuinely has a consistent arc from start to finish.
Oh yeah, it's
And
not his arc, it's just how he got there.
yeah,
He
I'll
somehow
get that
got
for
onto the
sure.
boat. There was a mini time skip. He was under the covers of the boat. He wasn't found. And I looked at the manga. He came in through the side door, so he was let in through the kind of dock. He would have had to leave and go out the front door to come in the side door.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
understand how that could have happened. And that and Levi are my two lowest.
Oh,
points of-
dude,
of
yeah.
Levi.
even more so than the ending, because that makes no sense to me. How Flock
I
managed
actually
to do
think,
that.
yeah, you know, like to talk about that. I think the major issue with Hanji's death is the build up to it, like what led
Yeah.
to it, and
Mhm.
it's what you mentioned about the Flock stuff, which is a shame because I think the death itself is executed well and it's perfect for Hanji, but it's just the stuff leading up to it that doesn't seem as believable.
Yeah, so like my biggest issues is I didn't like Hanji's death. I feel like it was just kind of like, oh, let me kill a character now. Boom, there he goes. And then Flock just felt like it was just kind of out of nowhere. He pretty much had like a mainly off-screen death. And my biggest issue with the series, which I hate that is my biggest issue with the series, because he's my third favorite character. Why the fuck is Levi alive? Like he should have
Yeah,
been dead, like ass
I
blasted when that happened to him.
I remember because I was still in between the reading the manga while the season was going on, and the moment I saw Levi just getting blown up or quote unquote blown up, I immediately told Troko, like, how is he still alive or no? Because how this guy should have been dead. And the moment I read the manga, he said go read the manga, of course, and then I read the manga and I was like, how is this guy alive? Like he should have died then. He should have been gone.
The
There's
horse behind him
no
caught on
way.
fire and burnt to death.
And the
There
explosion he
is
got
no way that guy should have been alive, man.
And the explosion he got hit with is the explosion that could take the armor off of the armor titan and pretty much would kill any normal titan. And like the only explanation I ever get is, oh, Ackerman powers was like, I don't buy that, dude. Like, I don't care if Ackerman powers or anything. It's like when you're in that type of situation, I don't care what kind of bullshit powers you have, you should be dead. But it's something that could kill Reiner in his titan form, you should be dead yourself.
I mean, at this point, I believe just Ackerman power is plot armor. At this rate, I feel like both Mikasa and Levi just have plot armor overall. Like,
No, I
it's
think
ridiculous.
after that explosion, he should have. I don't know. His legs should have been paralyzed or something at least.
Yeah, he should at least been completely immobile. But like, no, like a couple chapters
Yeah.
later, he's springing around and he's the ODM gear or whatever, right?
Yeah, I
Which-
think he made the Thunder Spears like really inconsistent at some point.
Yeah, and then one of my other big issues is Annie's character. She went from like just being the badass, independent female character to just completely like ooh Armin fuck me, pretty much. And then like the
Yeah,
main build up for it was off screen with like the crystal stuff, which I could take that. But then when it gets to like the final chapter, it's just like the whole situation. The final chapter is like, bro, what the fuck? This is not Annie. Like this is not the Annie I love.
You know, a lot of people give Annie shit, but I actually think she's quite an interesting character because, like, in this world of Attack on Titan, where you have so many characters that have like crazy goals, like, oh, saving the world, blah blah blah. Annie just felt like very realistic to me and grounded because, like, her goal was simply to get back to her dad, and
Yeah.
it just made her stand out from the rest. And even when she came back in 124, the following chapter spoke about her backstory and how she's basically adopted. And, despite the entire world being destroyed and despite everything that she's done, she would do it again just to get back to her dad. And I think I don't know, to me, in such a grand series, like I said, where there's so many, big motivations, I just really like that about her. So the fact that it didn't really go anywhere sucks,
Yeah, it's just like it pissed me off so much because like you already know when the whole like Armin Annie stuff started happening in the manga, I messaged you. I was like, dude, what the fuck is this? Why is this happening?
Yeah,
And then
I
like
don't.
you like explained it
Yeah,
to me, like gave me like a reasoning for it. I was like, okay, I guess I guess I'll accept it, right? Because it makes sense. But
yeah,
like the final chapter is like, fuck it. Like they just destroyed her for me.
yeah. That's the thing. Like, I genuinely didn't have that much of an issue with the romance because, I do think it makes sense, even though it could have been hinted at a bit more. But the fact that that's kind of what her character became at the end, I don't know. I just didn't like it, to be honest.
Yeah.
So real
And
quick,
one thing that I really enjoyed. Sorry to interrupt you, but one thing that I really enjoyed about 138 is that she was finally going to meet her dad, and it was tragic because he turned into a Titan, right? So I kind of like that development because like this is a goal that she was working towards like basically her entire life ever since coming on Paradise, and then she didn't even get to hug him. He ended up turning into a Titan. And the next chapter, guess what, guys? It was just a fake out. She's gonna be with her dad anyway.
Yeah.
It just, it feels so cheap, man.
So how do you feel about Path after like the ending? Because I feel like when it first started, it was really cool, but I feel like he kind of just used it as like just a BS reason to explain everything, just to like, just like stuff that doesn't
before
make
that,
sense. It's just like Path.
Ign, you're just using VOD audio, right? We're not recording ours.
Yeah, just use VOD audio.
I mean, to be honest, I think before like the final five chapters, I think the path stuff was like perfect, and it was only used for like the big moments. But
Mhm.
after that, he just kind of used it as a justification for everything.
Yeah. But I remember you in particular, you had like a whole graph for it. You wrote like an entire essay on
Yeah,
Twitter
bro.
explaining it.
I saw people complaining about some of the stuff in the recent chapters, and I was just like my brain was just working to try to make sense of this, and I was looking forward to making a thread on all of this stuff. But after this chapter, I'm just like, I don't even care anymore. Like, I don't want to do this because it doesn't even mean anything anymore.
Yeah.
How
Yeah,
did
I
you feel
think.
about the heaven part of Paz
Ooh,
being
yeah.
used just to give a happy ending and no other real reason for it?
Oh man, like this is related to past, but like one of my biggest issues by far with this ending has to be how he treated racism, like the oppression of the Eldians and all that shit. Like he's basically saying that if you get rid of the cause, like that's just gonna fix racism. Like I guess the main reason he's trying to say is that, oh, okay, the Titan powers are the main reason for like why you're oppressed. So if you get or why you're oppressed and why there's racism against you. So if you get rid of that, people aren't going to be racist towards you anymore. And like, do you see what kind of message that sends? It's like, okay, if you stop being yourself, then people will stop being racist against you. And like, Attack on Titan has had a lot of shit regarding fascism, uh, all that stuff. It's been accused of being Nazi propaganda and all that shit. And
Yeah.
during the RTS, Marley, even War for Paradise, he treated these heavy themes with such care and nuance, and the fact that he just completely brushed over all of it in 12 pages just doesn't sound right to me. I don't know. All of it just really boggles my mind because this manga, how do I put it? Like this manga, I think allowed a lot of minorities to, uh, I guess, um, not relate, but it allowed them to appreciate this aspect of the manga because it's something that they could see paralleled in real life. So the fact that it was treated so carelessly, when before he treated it with such care, I think it's pretty disrespectful to the people that have been following the series for so long.
Mm-hmm.
And it's such a complex and nuanced subject and sensitive. So the fact that he didn't give it as much care as he could have, just it completely boggles my mind. It's just a complete mistreatment of like what he was trying to say in the previous arcs.
All right, so I know people have mentioned this a couple times, but we already know that this was not his original ending. Wasn't this like the third ending he came up with? Like he had one that was like the one he had from the beginning. He was planned. Did he kind of change it second time? And then he's like, you know what, this will be the ending I go with. It was something like that, right?
Yeah, I think it was like the original. It was supposed to be one ending, then he decided to change it again, and then recently, I think he said like, yeah, because of like how much popularity it's gained or something like that. Something along those lines, from what I remember. He said that he wanted to change it again, which is what we got basically.
Which I think is
Which
part of the issue because like he was writing from the get go for like going from point A to point B, and then he just kind of had okay, let's go to point C, and then he's like, know what, fuck it, let's go to point D now. And I think that's kind of like one of the issues that happened because I feel like if you'd have kept like maybe the point A ending, or it might have been like a lot better because I feel like because that's what he's working up to the whole time. And like that's one of the things with this chapter is like this whole ending just feels like it was very last minute, which I mean obviously was the case. It's just like there's so much stuff that just didn't get answered, and the stuff that get answered is just like why, like why is this the answer? That there's a lot of just like this entire last chapter contradicts so much in like the last 100 or so chapters that have been in the series. It's like it just created more issues than it solved.
I think
And
also. Go
yeah,
ahead.
go on.
Sorry. No, go
Okay,
on.
okay. Like one of the things that really puts me off is what he did with the Ymir and King Fritz stuff.
Oh God.
Like, like the entire series is like okay, the entire series is basically okay. The Titans and the oppression exist because Ymir loved King Fritz, and it carried on for 2,000 years because she was waiting for Mikasa to kill Eren. It just but that's basically what it is. Like
Yeah.
it just it, oh I don't like honestly man, it just makes me so mad because it's just all been like
The biggest
reduced to such a stupid thing.
problem I have with that whole Ymir Fritz situation is like it literally contradicts what 135 was. Like 135, 136, when Ymir and Eren were meeting, and Eren was like, "You're like me" and everything, and it was supposed to be that, but Mikasa just came out of nowhere into that situation and was like, "Oh, I know that people are talking about this sort of." I don't want to call it headcanon because it depends on people's perspective. That's the biggest problem I have with this being such an open ending, is that it brings in so many different people's analysis that you're going to contradict with somebody else immediately, or you're going to have a different perspective compared to somebody else already, which, especially for such a complex series, and complex characters, complex ideas, it just doesn't necessarily work well. And it's like some people were saying like, oh, it's because Ymir wanted to see Mikasa accept her love or for Eren or something like that, and that's the reason why she's waiting 2,000 years so she could see it herself. And I'm just there like, that directly contradicts what happened in 135. What does It just doesn't make any sense personally. Like, it's so, why are you romanticizing this whole series? Because that was not what the intention was ever. Like, there was no aspect of the series that said that romance was going to solve this issue or anything, and it just came out of nowhere and was like, okay. Because at the end of the day, I think I can say this for all of us here, we didn't want a happy or sad ending. Whatever the ending was, be the ending. It just needed to neatly tie up all the loose ends, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's the biggest issue, because people are saying, oh, you wanted a happy ending, oh, you wanted a sad ending. No, we just wanted a neat and tidy ending, and that's not what we got, quite literally.
Okay, real quick, I want to
Yeah,
address something in
like
chat.
yeah, go on.
Someone said, but I mean, after chapter 138, I don't get how people expected every question to be answered in one last chapter. That was part of the issue. Like, once chapter 120, I mean, whatever, 138
Well, yeah,
dropped,
that's
and
why.
we knew the next chapter is the last chapter, I literally told Turbo, this ending's going to be awful. Like, there's no
Yeah.
way. Like, we all knew, like, there's no way he's going to be able to tie everything up. Like, he was just kind of backed in the corner at that point.
And that's
Yeah,
part of
like
the issue of his whole thing of saying like, I want to end it on 139. I mean, it could be something from the production committee side or the editor's side saying like, oh, you need to finish this off, or I think it's Kodansha who's the publishers, right? They must have said like, oh, we need it to be done in 139 and whatnot. And that's a problem. I don't know whose fault is it. Is it Isayama, who said he wanted to end it on 139? Is it Kodansha, who said they want to end it there? Whoever it was, that's a problem from their end. But we can also criticize it for doing that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's a problem. That is a negative. Sorry, we've been interrupting you, Alex. Go ahead.
Yeah.
oh, it's okay. Like I was just saying, like, in regards to Ymir, and like, I think it was chapter 137.
Yeah.
We got more, I guess, more characterization about her, and we kind of learned that one of the reasons why she stayed. Well, okay, yeah. So basically, we got one motivation in 137, and then 139 completely contradicts that. But basically, in 137, we're told that, or it's implied that the reason why Ymir is still in the past is because she can't let go. Well, it's because she yearned for something in the real world that she couldn't reach when she was still alive. And I think that thing was love and like connection of people. And then
Mhm.
and the reason why she created the paths is because that's what she wanted, because the paths connects every single subject of Ymir to her. So she obviously wanted that connection. She wanted that love. And then in 139, it completely contradicts that, and it tells us, oh no, actually, Ymir loved King Fritz all along. So it makes me question Isayama's decision to say that she yearned for something that she couldn't reach in the real world, you know?
Mhm.
And like, it's such an interesting concept because her desire for human connection and love could have played into the ending, but instead it's just been reduced to this romantic stuff that was never implied to begin with.
I mean,
So
another thing,
yeah,
quick question I have. I'm a bit confused about the whole Mikasa situation as well. In 138, the whole memory thing she had with Eren or whatever it was, I assume it was a memory, like a repressed memory where she stayed with Eren for 3 years, right? How is it possible that her memories
Yeah.
were erased considering she's an Ackerman and an Asian? Shouldn't she be
Yeah, they
immune to that
can't.
sort of stuff?
Yeah, she should.
Wait, so then,
Hey, what is that all about, by the way?
uh,
Was it
I'm
real?
so
Is it a
baffled.
dream?
Okay.
No. Okay, so that was kind of like what happened with, from what I gather, it's kind of like what happened with Armin at the in the last chapter, where Eren like literally just was like, you know what, I want to stay with Mikasa for like 3 years, and then I'll erase your memory, and then when I die, you'll get the memories back again, kind of thing. But the
Yeah.
problem is, how her memories not, how her memory is repressed because she's a Ackerman and an Asian.
Yeah, it doesn't make it
That's such a
make
weird
sense
addition to add for no reason. Like,
because
yeah, we actually lived together for 3 years, by the way.
yeah, that whole thing was so stupid.
no, because no, because like what do you, because literally in this chapter she
You're dying, Alex.
says, uh, you know, you got, oh, Armin, I think it was Armin or Mikasa. Huh?
You're dying for a second there.
You died for a second.
Oh, okay. Yeah, but I think yeah, Armin and Mikasa basically said that they got the memories back this chapter, and it's like, what happened to Ackerman's not being able to, like, they weren't able to be influenced memory wise.
So while we're
He's
talking
saying,
about
I
this,
think.
Alex, you still there? Because I know this is your favorite
Yeah, I'm
topic.
here.
Okay, talk about Aaron. I know that's your favorite part of this chapter. You love it.
Oh my god. Like, I know some people think that we're overreacting, but this is like, to me, this is like a character assassination of the highest degree. Like, his death didn't even make me sad. What made me sad was like what the fuck happened to his character.
You even need the character to have a happy ending, you know?
Oh, bro, and the thing is, it's not even like, this isn't even a bad path for Eren. It's just the way that it was done that's so fucking bad.
Okay, I'm going back and checking 138. She does remember it. Okay, so that's fair. Okay. She remembered it all this time, but the fact that she didn't do anything to contradict it is like she just let it go. She was just like, yeah, I'll let it be.
Wait, remembered
Which
what?
she apparently she in 138, I'm seeing it, she literally said, I'm sorry, I can't forget you. So that insinuates, I guess, she remembered the time she had with Aaron, but then why didn't she do
No,
anything to
no, I don't think that's what she's saying. It's because, like, from the start of the series, even
yeah.
I think it was chapter 126 or 125. Louise, the girl that follows her around or whatever,
Yeah.
she says that that Eren wanted Louise to get rid of Mikasa's scarf,
Yeah.
and then in 138,
he says, "Forget about me." So I think it's just to do with Eren wanting Mikasa to forget about him. I don't think it's anything to do with the memory. I think Eren literally just wants Mikasa to forget about him, and when she says "I can't," it's because she doesn't want to forget about him.
Mm-hmm. It's a bit odd. Okay,
Yeah,
let's.
that entire dream sequence is just
Yeah.
odd.
All right, so I know people are talking about this in chat. Why do you think it's a problem seeing season 1 Eren and the current chapter Eren? Because I have problems with it, but I want to know why you guys have problems with it.
With what? Sorry.
Seeing old Eren in this new Eren, basically this development we've seen in Eren, and then reverting back to season 1 Eren, basically for
Yeah,
the final chapter.
he pulled a like Dragon Ball Super Vegeta character regression, pretty much.
Wait, are we talking about like Eren literally appearing as a kid in this trial?
No. I
in
think his
the chapter?
personality. No, his personality, like him regressing back to his older personalities instead.
I think, you know, I think it's just the way that it was done, like the dialogue, because like everyone knows that Eren is an emotional kid. There is no denying that.
Yeah.
And to an extent, he did put on a front, especially around his friends. But one of the things that I really liked about his character is that all of the emotional trauma, from seeing the future memories and all of that, like finally caught up to him, and it was like slowly turning him into this person that he became. And like the way that the dialogue was done, and like it was just, it just felt so unnatural to me because it just felt like it came out of nowhere. Like no one is denying that Eren is this emotional kid, but if you look at chapters like 131, we see like it's one of the best chapters in the series for me. Like we see him like crying and breaking down in front of this kid, and people love it because it makes sense and it's in line with his character. But then we see him, acting like this over Mikasa when he's never shown to have this super reliance on her, and it just feels odd.
Yeah,
AOT ending is good at Universe 11. Universe 11 had the time loop ending.
Like, all I'm gonna say, like, no one cares that Eren is emotional. People love that side of him. After seeing him like this for so long, like we've seen him have this dead face for so long and just being depressed and all of that. So seeing him cry in 130, like 131 rather, like people love that. Like literally, no one complains about Eren crying in 131. People love it. It's in line with his character. It elevates his character to an entirely new level. But like the dialogue and just the way it was done in this chapter, just I don't think many people like it.
I think my biggest problem is that I don't mind the emotional side either. My biggest problem is that we've seen Eren mature from the kid he was to the point he is now. There's no problem with the 19-year-old being emotional or being in love or whatever it may be. That's completely fine. But the problem is the way you do it. And the way they did it just didn't feel like there was any progression made from that original character. There has to be some degree of progression, and I never felt that in that chapter at all, to be honest. And that's my biggest problem. Him reverting back to his original self was kind of slightly jarring. It's not my biggest problem. It's a slight problem, but it just doesn't feel great the way they did it.
Yeah, it doesn't feel very natural, and it's like I
Yeah.
said, it just feels very out of nowhere, especially because of what I said about like he never showed to have this massive reliance on Mikasa. Like if anything, he like constantly pushed her away. So for it to like flip like this, it just feels very jarring, I guess. It feels very uncharacteristic. Like I would have loved if he showed that if he showed his feelings for Mikasa in like a more subtle way, if that makes sense.
Okay, look, chat. Y'all can like the ending. Just like you're allowed to like the ending, we're allowed to dislike the ending and have our reasons for it. Okay? So I want to point that out. And also, I saw a comment. This is my first time hearing Alex speak in like 4 years, by the way.
Oh,
Like
man.
and it's like I said, like so many of these ideas make complete sense, but they just needed to be built up bit
I feel
better, I
like
guess.
if he had like another like maybe like 3 or 4 chapters or something like that, it probably would have been a lot better.
I think that's the biggest thing is
Yeah.
like it's just an extra 2-3 chapters, and it probably could have been a whole lot better and probably
Well,
cleared up a lot more.
Bro, and the thing is, people act like time skip Eren doesn't show any feelings when he literally does. People think that
Oh no, he does, yeah.
being emotional means being like acting like he did in the chapter, like a brat. That's what people think being emotional is. Like
No.
post time skip, he showed like even in Injustice facial expressions, we've seen him being sad, angry. We've
Yeah.
seen his conviction. Like those are all emotions. Like emotions doesn't like it isn't just being what Eren was in this chapter.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I mean we've seen it as well with the whole Eren Ymir conversation. That was him being, like, I know how you feel and everything. He was actually being emotional in that points, and as you said, 131. There's so many moments he has been emotional. It's just the way he was in this is just doesn't make that much sense in my personal opinion.
Yeah, and what people say that he was just putting a front on this entire time, and it goes back to what I was saying before. Like the reason why that annoys me is because it just kind of disregards his trauma. Like he became this person because of his trauma. So like, was he just pretending the entire time? Was he just acting the entire time? Like he's a pretty damn good actor if that's the case.
My man
Yeah.
deserves an Oscar, bro. Straight
All
up.
right. So someone said, but I'm sure most people thought Aaron and Mikasa liked each other. I was always under the impression it was just never touched on. That's pretty much the issue I have with it. Like we all kind of just had like an idea, like they kind of did, maybe possibly, but like it was never really like touched on enough to like warrant how the last chapter went with them. That's just how I look at it. Like I feel like it's kind of like my issue with Annie and Armin. It's like if they touched on it a little bit more, I feel like I'd have been perfectly fine with it. It just felt like there wasn't enough build up to it.
Wait, someone said what did he do that was brat? Like crying because he doesn't want to lose Mikasa. The guy's 19. How many people have their emotions together at 19? Like that I don't like I get what you're saying, but the issue with Eren, like I said, is that he's never shown to have this over reliance on Mikasa. If anything, he's constantly pushed her away, which is why it's very jarring. Like I don't deny that he might have some sort of feelings for Mikasa. It's just the way it was done, you know?
I think it also doesn't help that the ending pushed Mikasa to be the one, and you can make an argument, I suppose, that uh that's the reason why, so that Mikasa wouldn't have an over reliance on Eren instead, maybe, and hence why Eren pushed her away so that Mikasa could become independent from him, I suppose, is the best way to put it. Um, but even then that brings back to the problem is why is Mikasa all of a sudden the one, like that it like there's a lot of these issues that just connect to each other, and then it just, yeah, that's
Go
yeah.
go back to how did he constantly push her away? Go back to season 1.
Yeah, did you just not watch Attack on Titan?
Yeah.
Didn't what
Every
was the table,
episode, he was pushing
the
her
table
away.
what about the table scene? I mean, that's the literal last example of her pushing him away, pushing her away, obviously to get to this point, of course, but it's always been the case, literally.
Poor
uh
Alex's internet
Hello,
died again.
I'm back.
yeah, no,
there it
you're
is.
back, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if you go back to season 1, like he hated the fact that Mikasa was always like treating him like a baby. Like he always felt like Mikasa babied him. Like that's where he was pushing her away.
Literally,
he
their
never
first
wanted to have this
interaction
over-reliance on her.
is
That's
him
what I
pushing
mean.
her away.
Huh?
Their first interaction in the entire series is Aaron trying to push her away.
Yeah, like he didn't literally like push her, obviously, but like when Mikasa, like one of the things about Eren's character is that he always felt weak. He felt jealous of Mikasa because like Mikasa to him was someone like he saw Mikasa's willingness to help him as something due to his weakness. Like she was helping me because I'm weak. That's how Eren saw it as. So he pushed her away during these moments, and that's why I'm saying that he didn't want to have this over reliance on her. But 139 suggests the opposite, and there was like nothing recently to suggest that.
I think he died again.
Yep.
Gail, did AOT end to give you chest pains and lack of sleep? Dude, I saw that. Like, there's a whole thread of people saying they're traumatized and
Hey,
stuff because of the
yeah,
ending.
no. Surprisingly, no, because the next day I literally just went and read Kaguya-sama instead, the better manga.
I just wouldn't play Tekken.
It is what it is. After chapter 50, he realized that she loves him. Since then, he didn't push her away till he saw all the memories when kissing Historia's hand. Do you guys want to say something about that moment?
I mean, table scene.
Yeah.
It's one of the biggest scenes.
I mean, I can see again the table scene. I know the argument would be probably, and I'll make it as well as arguably because of the whole thing of like him setting it up so that uh they would be away from him and they would kind of hate him to the point where they would actually
Yeah, but that's
do
still
the
like
deed.
pushing her away, though.
But
Like he's doing
Yeah.
it for a reason.
I mean, I'll still maintain there are some aspects of the chapter I'll admit I do like. Is I mean, even though Levi was supposed to die ages ago, I still liked his arc. I guess like his ending was fine to me. I think that was positive. Um, Another positive, I guess I could say personally, I would assume is that it was still one of the better possible endings, no matter what anybody says. I think all things said and done, like a a happier ending could have been, even in my opinion, would have been questionable. But yeah, I think overall, like, there's some positives to it. I'll still like overall give this chapter a 6 out of 10, 6.5. It's not the worst thing out there in the world. Uh, but another thing, okay, quick thing. What do you guys think about the whole 3-year gap and the war still not technically being over?
I think it's actually the worst thing Attack on Titan has done. The way they made, like, oh yeah, everyone's all friends now. Levi and Annie. Oh yeah, they just hang around with the same group of people. There's always a little bit of spicy drama in that friend group, but yeah, they're the greatest of friends.
Does
Just
anyone
ignore when Annie twirled a guy like a fucking yo-yo.
does anyone mention how Zeke's death was pretty much pointless thanks to this chapter?
Oh my god.
Oh, yeah.
I feel so
Fuck
bad
Zeke.
for Zeke. Zeke was like, my G is gonna actually pull it off. He's gonna do it. He's actually gonna just, get it done. And then he's probably looking up from like heaven or whatever it is and just looking down at him, Aaron, and being like, you
little
dumbass.
bitch.
You failed me yet again. What a surprise. But no, I'm the thing is, I wouldn't have been too mad about it until you realize 80% of the world is dead. And it's like, why is there still so much time between what's happening and the negotiations? And they're still negotiating 3 years later. Like, if you even look at current modern era wars in real life, the maximum time it's taken has been maybe 2 years for everything to be done. No negotiations and everything. 1945 to 1947 was when the conferences took place, and 1947 is when the treaty finally took place for the end of the Second World War. How is it possible that it's still 3 years, they're still negotiating, and there's nothing come out of it?
Oh well, someone did the maths, and he said that Aaron destroyed like what 80% of the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's like 1 million people on Paradis, and there's like 400 million in the outside world. So, like, how much of the issue did they actually solve? Because 400 million is quite a lot.
So Alex, what's
Also,
your
they don't
thoughts
have
on
guns.
what's your thoughts
Huh?
on Zeke's death pretty much being pointless?
I don't even know, man. I don't even think about it, to be honest.
I mean, who cares?
All right, so Historia was like tied for my favorite character at one point. She's super badass, and like her whole entire story and plot was really sick. And he just completely forgot about her for like 40 chapters.
Yeah, I don't understand what he was trying. Like, it felt like he was building building up to something big, but he just didn't really get anywhere.
Yeah, it was so
No, because
disappointing.
what someone did was I think they took the population from our world and like compared it to like the time period that Attack on Titan was set in. So which is like 2 billion people, and they just did the math from there.
Historia's meaningless
Pretty
after
much.
chapter 90? Yeah, pretty much. Historia
Alex,
badass
how did
question
you,
mark? I mean, yes, Historia killed her own dad.
Yeah, what really frustrated me about the Historia stuff is that there was like so much like I guess I'm not. See, I don't know if Isayama was trying to bait us now, or if there was actually supposed to be something there. Because there's this farmer guy who she didn't even marry, and then we get all this weird stuff in 130 that's suggesting that there might be some more to it. And then in this chapter, a few years later, oh look, they're happily married. So like I'm trying to understand why he presented a relationship, the relationship between a farmer and Historia as something that was tragic, you know?
Speaking of story, I saw a tweet the other day that I found kind of funny. It's like AOT has a lot of cruel things in it, but the thing that scares me most is a lesbian getting pregnant.
Wait, oh man.
But
Well,
I don't.
Alex, how did you feel about Levi and Annie probably being in the same room together? Because if she's going to be hanging out with like Armin and Connie, Levi's going to be keeping up with them. How does that work? She swung that guy like a yo-yo. She crushed Petra's back like that. How does that make any sense that Levi's just like, all right, I guess we're just doing this
well,
for any
like
of them to be?
the way that I always thought of it is that what do you call it? The only thing that the way that I thought of it is that because Levi kind of knows what it's like to grow up with a ton of hardships as a child. So I think Levi is a very sympathetic character. So
Yeah,
after
but I think there's a difference between being forced to be a child soldier and cruelty, like swinging that guy like a yo-yo.
yeah, well, to be fair, he didn't see that, but
Yeah, she probably just won't mention that.
yeah, but yeah, I get what you're saying. I wish we got like at least some sort of conversation between them, but I just didn't think that was that big of a deal because I think once the people on the island, or at least the survey corps, found out about the situations of Annie, Ryan, and Bert, they were like, "Oh, okay, fair enough." Obviously, it doesn't forgive what they've done, but you can understand why they did those things. And
Okay.
I think Levi of all people would have
Yeah.
like he
But even still,
obviously
like,
he's still
when
saddened by the death of his
Mhm.
comrades, obviously, but he could have, I guess, forgiven it to an extent.
Yeah.
remember when Reiner just stabbed that guy in the wall when they were like tapping it?
Yeah.
He didn't have to stab that guy. They
Yeah.
just killed some people for no reason. And now Reiner's just smelling her letter. And Jean's like,
Oh,
oh,
bro,
Oh my
no, Reiner,
god.
dude.
That
Like,
part was
that
so
was too
you
weird.
actually murdered that guy. You did not have to do that. You could have kicked him. You could have transformed. You didn't actually have to kill anyone there. It would have been their choice to come to you after you transformed. That guy had no warning whatsoever. He was just stabbed in the chest and you just dipped. Like, after all that happened, and Reiner was like, what, probably 16 around that time, or 15, something like that, I think, when that happened.
Yeah.
I think he was 17.
17.
Actually.
So
Yeah.
you're still forced into doing that, but you
Levi's
don't-
killed so many of his comrades. I think you'll understand.
Well, I think the issue is that what do you call it? I think the issue is kind of that at that point he kind of have had no choice, but he was completely aware of what he was doing.
I think it's more just like an instinct thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of Bert and Berthold and the whole situation, the mom situation, I know my feelings on it. What about you guys? What do you guys think of that one? With
Or what do you mean?
Aaron saving Berthold, or it wasn't Berthold's time to die, and he led the Titan to
Oh,
his mom.
I do not like the way that was done at all. That should have had like 10 pages to it, but the fact that it was brushed over in just one, like you can't watch episode 1 the same way anymore. And it happened, but why? And I think it would have made more sense if it was maybe Ymir that did that, but the fact that it was Eren and we didn't really understand why is a bit frustrating. Like, I get the idea behind it. It's like Eren had to set these events in motion to like reach this point, but it's the way that it's phrased, it's suggesting that Eren can change more things in the past. Like the people get the Attack Titan power mixed up a bit because all the Attack Titan can do is see the memories of his future inheritors. And what happens in 121 when Eren manipulates Grisha is simply seeing the memories of future Eren manipulating him. So it's not like Eren is changing the past or anything. He's just allowing things to happen. But with the founding Titan powers, he's saying that the past, present, and the future all exist at the exact same time, right?
Yeah.
So he's saying, "Oh, I had no choice but to send Dinah towards my mom. Then why couldn't he change other events in the past? If that makes sense."
Yeah.
It just really needed a bit more elaboration.
I think that's the biggest problem of adding these time paradoxes into series like this. And it's not just AOT that's done it. I mean, many more popular franchises, Endgame, Avengers Endgame, that is, and whatnot, have done it. But this is the biggest problem. I had this problem since Grisha, and then this just being glossed over. I was like, how has he done both his mom and dad so dirty like this? Like,
Yeah.
he's just done it like, you know what? Sorted.
Well,
Whatever.
Damn, Zeke actually was the better son, dude.
People say Ymir is the one who set that tie to eat his mom, but in the manga pen it literally says it was him, right? Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Wait, let me see what it says. Let me see what it says.
I'll go
He
pee
just
real
said
quick.
that.
Y'all
I think
keep
he,
going.
yeah, I think the way he phrased it was just like,
No,
oh,
he okay. This is what he said.
yeah, go ahead.
That day, that time, it wasn't Bertolt's time to die. The one who let him go and made her go that way was, and then yeah. So basically, it was Eren. Like he said,
Yeah.
it was him that made it go that way.
Yeah,
So, like,
Yeah.
what else could Eren have changed then if he could affect that, and he
Yeah,
can affect,
yeah,
even if
sorry.
we assume only the royal blood titans he can affect, that's still at least one full titan outside the walls that won't be eaten by other titans, even when you're controlling it, because it didn't seem like she had any resistance from other titans. At what point could you have just done anything else with that? And what even is Paz, by the way? Like, it's because you definitely have a better grasp on it. Also, you're muted, so I think construction worked great, hopefully. But
Yeah.
okay, you're typing off. Like, you type and then. Okay, so yeah, what is Paz? Is it the devil's domain that Ymir is kind of like somehow ruling over? Is it her domain? What happens if Ymir just decides to fuck off? Does Paz go away? Why is it connected to every Eldian?
No,
And then
yeah, because I'm pretty certain in
Please don't die.
137 it suggests that Ymir was the one that created the paths because she wanted to like have a connection with people. That's kind of what happened.
If she got her powers from like the devil, right? That's still what it is, just the devil, no other real explanation besides that. Then-
We don't know. We just know that's a centipede thing.
Well,
Huh.
then.
I'm still confused on what the hell the Paz even is at the end of the day. Like, if she created it, but then
Yeah,
the power
but-
isn't really hers.
Yeah, well, I think the issue stems from the fact that we don't know what that centipede thing is or whatever. But I don't necessarily think we needed to know that. But the issue comes from the fact of how things ended in 139.
Yeah, I think my issue with Paz is because they introduced the concept of like a heaven type thing after Hanji's death, and it really didn't go anywhere. Like, I guess it was kind of used for the Titan shifters to come back in their Titan forms, but that could have just been done without heaven. It could have just been like, hey, it's a hollow husks of the real Titans, because nothing else was really done with it. And then heaven was the only real use it was given was for happy ending. But that's implying that the souls of every Eldian is in the heaven, so she can like control that, which I find
There
weird.
were somebody in chat is saying there was never a devil, it was all BS. Her power came from that centipede. Which, what even was that centipede? Even
Doesn't that just kind of also fuck off at some
that
point?
just didn't that just come for like one chapter and then just yeet itself away for
Well,
like a
we
split
see
second?
we first see it in 122, and then
Yeah.
well, they kind of elaborate a bit on it, and it's I guess that's the true source of the founding Titan, whatever the true form.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like a Black Zetsu type thing that had even less explanation than Black Zetsu.
Oh, man.
I guess.
Ah,
Like-
that's sad.
Well, to be honest, again, at the time it wasn't something that I think needed explaining, and I like the concept that Ymir was the one that manifested the paths, and
Mhm.
clearly she has godlike powers, but there's just one thing that I always liked about it is how he, Isayama, he used the paths for like these massive emotional payoff moments that were like the peaks of the series. But then later on, he just kind of used it to do whatever. Like in 137, he brought the previous Titan shifters back to life. Well, I guess it's implied that Zeke and Armin did, and then obviously they helped the Alliance win. And then in 138, we see Eren turn into like a colossal Titan. You know, there's just like in the final stretch, a lot of things like that happened without not really having an explanation, and that's what sucked.
Yeah. Do you think the like original ending would have just been a more everyone's dead type thing? He actually completes a genocide, and then
Well, he said that he wanted to replicate the Mist, or he wanted to have like a similar feeling to it. I don't know if you guys have seen that.
Yeah,
I think
that
that would
ending
actually
is
been a pretty good
awful. It's so
I think-
sad.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
it's awful in like a sad sense, but I think it would have been a really good ending story wise for AOT.
Yeah,
But
again, it depends on the execution at the end of the day. But my feeling is that it was either Eren destroys everyone in the outside world, and then he goes back to Paradise, and they all kill each other, or Eren, what do you call it? Eren destroys Paradise, destroys the outside world, and when he goes back to Paradise, everyone's dead. That's kind of the things that I was thinking.
So
'cause
here's
Eren
the
just kinda made
thing.
it worse than everyone.
Someone kind of touched on the chat. So you know how the anime Izayama gets some change certain things and stuff like that. Do you think he
Yeah.
might possibly change the ending in the anime, or you think he just keep it the exact same?
I think it entirely depends on the reception that he sees. To be honest, because I think if this ending is catered to the wider audience, so I think most people are going to like it. But he could, like, before the volume release, he might still go over it and make a few changes. And you know, there's still quite a bit of time between now and the end of the anime, so maybe he might request some changes. I mean, I hope he does.
I think the biggest
don't
thing
know.
the biggest thing that he could do with is, I've seen in like especially recently, I think Demon Slayer is the perfect example, where its latest volume release, it got like an additional like 20 to 30 pages of extra content in the final two chapters.
Oh,
If
that's
you
nice.
can,
Okay.
so there's a little bit more depth into like what's happening, what happened at the end, and just giving an idea on where the characters are. If we can get something similar, I think that would be fantastic, so that he knows that he gets more, he gets the extra chapter or two, quote unquote, that we kind of have been saying like might have been better to explaining everything. Because
Yeah.
like I said, it's not like it's a horrible ending. It's just
No,
that there's
no,
a lot of
exactly.
missing details that just need clarifying, because it just feels like a lot of it was just skimmed over, and it's up to the interpretation of the reader, which can go either way. Some people can get a lot of stuff from it, and a lot of people will get other stuff from it, which may not be the same like feelings regarding it, right? So if he can get another couple of pages, and maybe the end of the anime also maybe gets a bit more to it while maintaining the same ending, I think that still will be fine, in my opinion. I think.
One thing that, like, I actually think this chapter presented a lot of interesting concepts, and you can have the same story beats that this chapter had, but
Yeah.
I think they just need like different build up, and they just everything is just very vague, and it needs to be fleshed out a lot more for it to like make sense. Because
Yeah.
the way that this ending seems to me is that it had a completely different build up to what we got, if that makes sense. So like what the feeling that I get is that the build up all the way to like the start of the rumbling was from his original ending, and then everything after was from his new ending. And you can see where that issue stems from, because because the ending that we got was completely different in tone from the original one, and because the build up was for a completely different ending, like, it's going to create those inconsistencies.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it sucks, man. I mean, there isn't anything that we can do about it. Like, just don't
Yeah.
harass the editor or whatever.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Or no, don't harass Isayama or the editors. I
Yeah.
mean, we still have to appreciate the fact that we got a good series overall. Like the ending does not make it a 3 out or 2 out of 10 series, right? It's still a
Yeah.
strong 7.5, 7, 8, whatever you like to place it between that range. Series. I still really enjoyed the series overall. It's at the end will obviously have a heavy negative impression,
Yeah, man.
but
What really hurts
yeah,
the most is that this ending hurt the legacy of the series and Eren. Because like
yeah,
I'm seeing so many people that follow the series since 2013. Like say, oh, I don't even know what to rate Attack on Titan anymore. I don't know how to rate Eren anymore, and it sucks to see that because like I've spoken to several people and they know, like they like even though some of the previous chapters were getting a bunch of shit, they still wanted to love the series and they still wanted to find the good in the chapters that they were given. And despite having some issues with this arc, I still think that there was a lot of positives here. But
Mhm.
this chapter for me just kind of undoes that,
yeah. I really
and
want to. I
it's a
really want
shame.
to. I want to see what the Japanese think about it, because Isayama is probably going to be able to see more so the Japanese readers' perspective, right? So I want to know what I would do. Wonder how the Japanese feel about it, because I haven't seen anything regarding the Japanese. So if somebody in chat might know how they feel, let us know. But or in the comments as well for the video as well, if they have any
Yeah,
ideas, because I
wait,
have no idea. But yeah.
someone said after he sees the feedback from chapter 139, you guys think he'll request his original ending for the anime? Probably not, but I still
Yeah.
think that he can change a few things about the last stretch.
I think
I
he
think
could
the
release like an extra chapter, like the I don't know whatever you title it, where he gives us like maybe like a brutal original ending, or even whatever his original ending was. It didn't
Yeah.
end like
maybe like
this.
an OVA or something, maybe or something along those lines. I just think that, yeah, as long as he can get a bit more to add on to it, is the biggest thing I can hope for, is just give him some more details to like write on and give to the animators and whatever, because that's the biggest thing. I think this just needs more fleshing out. It's
Oh,
half in
yeah. Sorry, go on.
it's apparently half and half in Japan, is
No,
what I'm
I don't
seeing.
think that's true. Wait, the rumbling was always going to be CGI, by the way. There isn't a studio in Japan that wasn't going to make a CGI,
Yeah.
like
Yeah, there's
a 2D
Well,
rumbling.
physically no way
yeah,
they do that.
yeah.
But
I mean,
unless they do
well,
unless they showed the colossal titles for like 2 frames and that's it. Also, speaking of which, do you think they're
Yeah.
gonna censor the shit out of that in anime? Because like, there's literally like people holding their babies in air, getting stomped on and shit. Like,
no, I don't think it'll be censored. I think they'll put a
think-
disclaimer for it. I think it'll
Maybe,
be kind of like
maybe.
it'll be like how Goblin Slayer had to do their first episode disclaimer after everybody's issues with what happened in it. I think it'll be something similar where they'll just have to put a disclaimer for that episode.
probably that would make sense.
Yeah. I don't. Man, I don't know. Yeah. I think in Japan most people do like it, but I've seen like some people say that the Korean fan base, for example, hates it.
Gotcha.
So, like,
Yeah,
I guess it depends on where you are.
yeah. It's gonna be very interesting to see what happens at the end. 1 second. I noticed something that I wanted to talk about. Oh yeah, no, the rumbling CGI. I think, yeah, I don't think Mappa are fine with doing CGI. They're gonna do it.
I mean, they're good
It's
at it,
fine.
so like,
Yeah, yeah, they're actually good at it. Like Wit Studio, I mean, Choco and I had this discussion about Wit, and we talked about the whole factor that Wit have been prone to not using CGI. Had it been Wit, probably we would have seen maybe the rumbling be a bit more of like the hand-drawn stuff rather than CGI. But it would have been practically impossible to do CGI, no CGI for the rumbling at all. Yeah, there's no way they could have done that, I think.
Yeah. Well, it's gonna be so weird to have like what's for me like the best stretch in Attack on Titan, and then this stuff at the end. It's gonna be so jarring for me.
Yeah, because I mean, arguably the Morality and War for Paradise arc are so good, right? But
Yeah. Like
it's
I even like even before this chapter, I thought that okay, I think the anime is gonna actually elevate quite a few of the chapters that were a bit weaker this arc, through voice acting and just the overall visuals. But now I'm not too sure, to be honest.
someone
I think
said
they
Wit over Mappa. I disagree heavily. Wit
no
has
Mappa
Wit
all
has
the
the
way.
better art style, but when it comes to animation and stuff, Mappa completely shits on Wit.
Yeah.
I think
Wi-
Mappa's 100% better than season 3 Wit though.
yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, the people forget Wit. Like Shoko reminded me of this, and then I went back and checked. I remember Wit actually had like still images just going up and down, and it was just the funniest
Yeah,
thing, bro.
like they get by because like the art style is super good, but there's a lot of like
Mhm.
very spotty animation. Like I still like what Wit did, but like the people overrated a bit in my opinion because there's a lot of spotty animation. Like, even my favorite scene in the anime, one of my favorite scenes of all time, the trader scene. There's not much animation in that, but like it's still super
Yeah,
good. Like they had like a unique
but
way of doing it, I guess you could say.
yeah, it was just really well directed. I don't have any issue
Yeah.
with it.
Yeah.
But I think like the issue of season 3 is that it was just very bland with its directing. It was just a bunch of panning and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
like, bro, I will always stand by this. Season 1 of Attack on Titan is one of the best adaptations ever.
Yeah, it's super good.
Oh yeah. Oh man.
Also,
Is it
yeah, about like
what's
season
up?
one, because I know you mentioned the pacing. I don't know if did you read the manga for season one?
Yeah, no, I went through everything again.
Yeah.
I
Okay,
caught
'cause, yeah,
from
the
the
pacing
top.
was slightly better, but the pacing was only weird because it kind of moved events around. They didn't change events; they just kind of
Yeah, no, yeah, it was very odd. Like I know what you mean. Like having read the manga, I can see what people are why people have the same feelings as I did with the pacing. But yeah, it's not terrible now looking at it back at it, but it still had its issues. I feel, and I can see why 14-year-old me had an issue with it though at the time. But yeah.
People complain about 7DS animation. I mean, you can not like the animation series. It doesn't have to
Well,
be better than
yeah,
different
well,
series,
to be
you
fair,
know?
I think the one thing that the season was lacking was like in the animation department. It wasn't bad by any means. I think it was like pretty average. You know, I understand that Attack on Titan is kind of known for like this flashy animation or
Mhm.
whatever.
Yeah.
So I can definitely understand the disappointment, but for me, like the other aspects of the production like made up for it. So like I don't know, because I go back and look at season 3 and like to me it just looks so bland most of the time, like with the color palette
Yeah.
and just like it's so gray and dull, and like if you compare it to Mappa, it's like it's super colorful.
Mhm.
And like when I watched the trailer, I was like, oh, this looks pretty bland, you know. But I'm glad that
Yeah.
you know, the backgrounds are amazing. There's just a lot of areas in this production that I think make up for that lack of animation.
Yeah, like I'll give credit where it's due. I was very concerned about the season, considering Mappa and their like 50,000 shows happening at the same time.
Oh
But
yeah.
uh, and apparently the production schedule was hell for all the shows. So I'm very impressed that they managed to pull it off. Although I really feel bad for the employees, I'll still say that I really
Yeah,
hope
for
the
sure.
employees are on like a long break now. But yeah, I mean, they still did a fantastic job. Hopefully, their employees have some more time and relaxation before they have to do season 4, the second part for season
Yeah,
4 and stuff.
I think the good thing about this is that I think they will actually do it. I think the pre-production period for part 1 and part 2 were like kind of going on at the same time, so
Yeah.
I think they had a bit more preparation for this part. And
Mhm.
now they have all the CGI models done for the Titans, and I guess they've gotten a bit more used to the character designs. So I
Yeah.
think they are a bit more prepared for the second part, thankfully.
Thankfully.
And like I just hope that things look better overall because Aaron's Titan in some scenes during the Marley stuff just looks so off to me.
I know
So
what you mean. Yeah.
yeah, and we found out that they didn't even finish the model until like July, so
Yeah.
they didn't have
No.
like that much time to work with it.
Yeah. I mean, I knew there was some moments where they literally had to submit the episode only a day or two before the
Yeah,
episode aired, and then the
even a few hours.
translation. Yeah, even
Yeah.
few hours, and hence why translations would take time, or they were not up to scratch more often than not because they would just rush the translations as well for Crunchyroll, right? Um, so I'm glad that they have more time for this, and even then, like I think because it's coming in winter 2022, which should be like January, maybe December, but most likely January. uh we know Chainsaw Man and probably the Jujutsu Kaisen movies will be over before then, so it'll give them more time to like wrap up everything and make sure everything's clean and tidy for it rather than rushing.
Well, it has a completely
yeah.
different team, so I don't.
So I
that's gonna
see
be a
people talk
problem.
about this
No,
in
but it'll
chat.
give them more people potentially from the other teams if need
Yeah,
be,
that would
right?
be nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I see
that's what
people.
I meant more so.
I
Yeah.
see people in chat talk about this, but I think Gabby's like one of the most overhated characters in the series.
Oh, definitely, 100%.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
bro, say what you will about Gabby, but her character was great from start to finish.
I mean, Gabby was basically set off to be Aaron 2.0 kind of low key.
Yeah,
Though.
but her
So,
character
yeah.
arc makes sense, and
Yeah.
like there's nothing that compromises her.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think she's
Gabby
extremely
go, Gabby
overrated.
go.
Yeah.
I think. I mean, I can see why. Like, even I hated her, especially after the whole Sasha
But
situation.
most people hate her just because she killed Sasha.
Yeah. But I mean, it's just more so like I can see why. I don't hate her. I mean, I disliked her after that point, but it's more so like I understood her character as well, which was the most important thing. Like, you can dislike a character but still appreciate what they've become, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Gabby and Falco is what Eren and Mikasa would have been. Yeah, pretty
So
much.
I guess it
Uh,
seems like
man.
we're pretty much done with talking about the ending. So I mean, we can just talk
I mean,
about
we can-
whatever. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
just
just
generally, I
interact the
suppose.
chat. Yeah.
Yeah, well, to be honest, man, look, there is so much that I could say about the ending, but because I'm on stream, I can't like put my thoughts together as I go. Probably.
Yeah.
But like, there's so many like people I've spoken to, and like every time I look at a certain aspect of this chapter, and then like compare it to something that Isayama said before, there's just so many contradictions, and like I see what he's going for, but in the process of trying to establish these concepts in the last chapter,
Mhm.
it just falls very short. And bro, I really don't like how he handled the whole race oppression stuff.
Yeah.
That's like, you know, when as an author and when you're tackling such serious and sensitive topics, it has to be near perfect, if not perfect. So the
Mhm.
fact that he brushed over it in like what 12 pages or
Yeah.
some shit like that,
Yeah.
you know, bro, you spent multiple chapters before going in depth into these topics. So the fact that you treated it so, I don't know, so shit in such a shitty way,
Mhm.
like just blows my mind. Like as an author, you have a responsibility to take care of these topics in a well done manner.
Yeah.
That you have a responsibility to the reader to convey a message about these things. And I don't even know what message he was going for, bro, because like Eren was basically thanking Eren for becoming a mass murderer. It's like,
Oh my god.
What
Bro,
Isayama, what the fuck are you saying?
that I swear, bro. The fact that I saw that, like Armin just saying, "Thank you for becoming a mass murderer for our sakes." It's like, bro.
Yeah, that shit was so
I can't
funny.
believe that line, bro. Why did
I
you
thought
I
that
was
was
like, huh?
like fake fan lines, and it's like, oh, that's sad.
That was just like, bro. You could
That
have
even
phrased
goes
that
into
a bit
all
better,
Armin's
bro.
character as
Yeah,
well.
it is his manga. He can do what he wants, but I still think that when you're handling such sensitive subjects, like you have a responsibility as an author to handle those subjects in a way that is convincing and that sends a certain message.
I mean, that's the whole point. That's why he changed the ending as well, was because he knew like he had fans to please, quote unquote, right? And the fact that he changed the ending, but he didn't do the same for these themes is just a bit odd.
Yeah, well, like people don't realize like how important this is. Like these are like some of these issues like are real world issues. You know,
Yeah.
Yeah.
like
I mean,
so
especially
you can,
in especially in this day and age where people,
yeah,
say like
where there's so much racism, oppression, and all that stuff,
Mhm.
and you know when you're telling a story, you do have a responsibility to the reader to, at the very least, handle these subjects with care. But and he did for the longest time. He absolutely did, in my opinion. So
Yeah.
the fact that in this chapter he just basically glossed over it, and he somewhat handled the issue in such a, I guess, just such a naive way. It just rubs me the wrong way.
Yeah. Um, the funniest thing I have to admit, I just remembered and I just realized technically, Mikasa literally just carried Eren's head across the ocean from like what is effectively Madagascar to North Africa.
Yeah,
Effectively,
bro, how did she walk
How,
back to paradise?
how did she? I'm so
Wait.
baffled as to how did she just carry his head around just like
I didn't even
across
think
the
about
ocean?
that.
I was just like, wait a second. I was just thinking about the map, and I was just like, wait a second, huh?
Man, those Ackerman
How did-
powers
Wait.
surely are crazy, huh?
Wait,
Well,
Josh, I'm gonna send you a panel and like put it on screen.
All right.
Because it plays into what I was talking about. Let me find it. Okay.
Mikasa's just built different. Yeah, probably at this point, I just genuinely believe she's just built
Okay, there you
different.
go.
Yeah, hold on, let me. There we go. It's up.
Okay, wait, can they see it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
they can see it.
Is it behind? Because I can't see it. Oh, hold on, let me
It's
refresh.
probably
the screen.
behind.
Okay. So basically, the message here is that all of them like are special because, like, even with the Titan powers, you know, like all of them exist because someone meant for them exist, and Titan powers doesn't change that. So the fact that the Titan power is being removed is what makes it easier for them to achieve peace. Like, kind of contradicts the idea that their powers are a good thing and makes them special and valid. It kind of sends the message that, oh, okay, with the powers, well, wait, 139 basically says that, okay, now that you don't have the powers, you are valid. That's kind of what I think it's suggesting, you know?
Yeah.
Like the curse, the Titan curse is what, getting rid of that is what's gonna make things so much easier to sort out, when it wasn't really about that, you know? There was a lot more politics behind that.
Yep. The construction workers didn't appreciate that.
Do y'all think that they miss having the Titan powers?
Considering they're still negotiating, probably would have been like just let we
Like-
should have just had Titan powers and just screwed them over.
Like, I'd be
80% of
so
them.
like-
Aaron just made it so much worse for them. You took away their defenses, you took away their offenses. You're 150 quadrillion years behind technology, basically. You don't even have a car, dude. You have one cool train, and that's it. And now the rest of the world just wants to kill you. Like, nice
like
job,
imagine living your whole life like, wow, I could transform this cool Titan, and then all of a sudden you just can't do it anymore for the rest of your life. That would suck.
Yeah, it's again. It's just
Imagine
weird
getting in a
because,
fist fight. You like, you know what? You just gotta bite your hand, so you just take care of it real quick, and then you're just like, oh shit.
yeah.
How would you guys have changed the ending, though?
Honestly, at this point, I would not have even minded the time loop ending, because at least like,
Oh yeah, that would have been better. And
yeah, at least there's some type of like foreshadow, like way in the beginning. That could have been one of those Izayama goat moments, just because like the whole sleeping scene, like way back at the beginning.
yeah, like when did your hair get so short? Like,
Yeah,
what did that actually lead to? That
like-
actually led to like nothing.
because like also like the very last
Really?
couple of panels, like Mikasa has the super long hair, so it could have been pretty cool to have. It's like it's just a time loop or something. Like I know it wouldn't have been the best ending, but I would have preferred that.
Wait, can I just say something real quick?
Yeah,
go for it.
People in the chat, like, I'm actually curious to know like, if you read the chapter, I'm curious to know how you guys feel about how Isayama handled the entire oppression stuff and the racism, you know, the cycle of hatred. Like, do you think he did it in a convincing way with, you know, Armin's speech or whatever,
Yeah.
or like, is it unsatisfying to you? Do you think it should have gone a different way, or I don't know, because I've spoken to several people about this, and they didn't like how it was, I guess, somewhat solved. You know,
I love
solved in a simple way, I guess.
I love how somebody brought up in chat, by the way, but while they respond to us, I love how somebody in chat mentioned this, and I mentioned it to Troko as well. The Warhammer Titan came for one part, and it was important for one moment, and then it was just useless after that. That just like they gassed it up so much, and then nothing happened with the Warhammer.
Yeah, the Warhammer is always a weird Titan because it was never actually important up until the like the declaration of war, and even then it was defeated in like a minute. And then after that, we all expected like, oh, Aaron could be, he's God now, so he could have extended range with the Warhammer Titan. He could actually be back on the island while he's controlling the Titan, all that stuff. And it was never really used to its full capabilities. Yeah, aside from like one, that poor Titan got shafted out of any like real relevance.
Yeah, which sucks because that's probably my favorite Titan design.
Yeah.
I mean, if we want to talk about being shafted out of being like useful, I mean, the Colossal Titan, the big bad Titan himself,
Yeah, he didn't really
actually
get much
do
use.
a ton throughout the entire series.
A lot of chat is saying they're satisfied with it, by the way, regarding the point, Alex.
Okay.
I don't
fair
think
enough.
y'all. I don't think y'all understood what he's saying. To be fair,
Yeah. Well, I don't know.
I feel
Well,
like that's a topic that most people just overlook while reading.
yeah, but bro, like everyone knows that Attack on Titan has been under fire for so long for like being Nazi propaganda or whatever.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So the fact that in this chapter he's thanking Eren for being a mass murderer,
Oh God.
and then
Oh no.
he's basically saying, "Oh, we're not Titans anymore. Like we can get along." It's just, man, maybe they
Like
were
that
right,
goes
man.
that scene killed Aaron and Armin's character, because Armin was always like, he wanted to talk to Bertolt before just straight up shooting with an anti-Titan cannon. Like he was like, before we shoot him point blank with a thunder spear, which is probably what we should do, I want to talk to him first. He's always been about like actual resolutions, but then he's like, oh, yo, thanks for like killing 80% of the world. Like that's
Yeah.
not Armin's character.
Yeah, he didn't solve racism or oppression, but what I didn't like was how he was basically saying that if you get rid of what makes you different, that's how you solve it, or at least make it easier to solve it. If you get what I'm saying.
It's kind of like saying, "Oh, if I stop being white, then it just solve all racism." That's pretty much what it is.
And even if they got rid of the Titan powers, they made the racism problem worse, because even if they can't do it now, they don't care. 80% of the world is gone because of one of you. Doesn't matter if you can turn into a Titan now. People aren't going to care.
Yeah.
I think it would have been better if like the I guess they like I'm just trying to think of how this could have gone, and I think them trying to get along despite having the powers would have been a better route to go down, maybe.
I think
Because at least that way you aren't saying, oh, okay, if you get rid of what makes you, like, if you get rid of a part of you, if you get rid of something that you were born with, like, that's gonna make it easier to sort out the issues.
Yeah, it just doesn't make sense. I see. Yeah, Aaron didn't really solve it. They're still bigots. Yeah.
Alex, did you ever read the pilot chapter for AOT? I assume you did, right? Where they were in like the forest and you had kind of like the concept Aaron and pretty much basically concept Gabby.
Oh yeah, I read that.
Yeah, I think that would have been a much better ending than what we got. Like, if he wanted to loop back to that, where all the Titans that were turned into Titan in 138 didn't actually change out of it, and then the outside world had to build like scuffed Titan, like anti-Titan villages in the remainder of the world, and then Gabby and Falco could have been in that village, and then they realized like Falco was a Titan ship. If you could somehow leave it, I think it would have been a better ending if like the outside world had to kind of deal with what the walls dealt with. Because of all the new pure Titans running around out there type thing.
Yeah, I'll get it. That could have been
Because
interesting.
that pilot chapter was always really interesting to me to see where it could have gone. And I mean, we did get a lot of it in concept Aaron and Gabby both.
Yeah.
I mean, made it in, but
Wait, someone said, yeah, but you can't compare being black or white with being a Titan. In the end, you saw subjects of Ymir and Onyankopon and Malians be together, though. Yeah, I mean that's a fair point, but it's been said across the series, well, not across the series, but I guess in Mali and War for Paradise specifically, that the world needs the Eldians, the subjects of Ymir, to be the root of that hatred. Well, I guess it's more so the people on the island, but like they needed them to be the source of the hatred to keep the peace. And I don't think anyone expected Isayama to solve racism. That's not what we're trying to say at all.
Yeah.
I just think that he should have handled the subject in a more nuanced way,
Again, I think that
I-
also comes back to the whole point of he needed more. Like
yeah,
the
he
whole
needed more pages, yeah.
yeah. I
Yeah,
think it just comes
I
back
think
to
that's what
that.
it all comes down to. It's like if he just had more time, I feel like it would have been a lot more fleshed out, and like we wouldn't have half of these issues we do.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
like
like
you mentioned, like Ignan mentioned earlier on to Troko, like when he said to Troko at 138, like this is not going to be resolved. It clearly isn't.
Yeah.
Like I guess for
Yeah.
what it is, it's probably the best or close to the best it could have been. But yeah,
yeah, I don't know, man. It's just like it was like I was saying. Like, at the end of the day, this is it's a heavy, sensitive topic,
mhm,
and I just think it should have been handled with a bit more care. It's not necessarily bad by any means. Like no one expected racism to just like disappear, but
Yeah.
some of the implications in this chapter, uh, I'm just not a fan personally.
yeah. We were talking about this before, I think, while you were unfortunately muted or something. What would you have done alternatively for an ending?
I would have. I think this path makes sense. I think Aaron inevitably, um, you know, sacrificing self makes sense, but there needs to be some sort of shift. And I'm actually kind of working on something right now, uh, and I'm probably going to post it on Twitter at some point,
Mm-hmm.
about how I think he should have handled this whilst keeping the same ending.
Yeah.
And there's like to me, there's so many things that he could have done. For example, in this chapter, a really cool concept that was brought up was Eren, like when Eren is in the founding Titan, he's connected to the past, present, and future all at once. And I had a thought, and I was like, okay, after he gained the full power of the founder, we could have had a massive dig into Eren's mind and him. We saw in 131 how he was crying because he's going to kill, that kid eventually.
Yeah.
But like, if when he's the founding Titan, he's connected to all the subjects of Ymir, and I think one thing that could have been really interesting. Um, what's really interesting is what could have been interesting is him like genuinely feeling the pain and the thoughts of everyone as being killed. You know what I mean? Because he said, you see what I'm saying? Like that
Yeah.
that could
Yeah.
have fucked with his mind even more, and like
Mhm.
experiencing like the things that the people he's killing are experiencing could have led to some more interesting development and potentially changing his mind
Yeah, like
on, you know what I mean?
I personally think like the ending, like as an ending, overall it could have been good. I just feel like we needed more stuff explained and stuff that's built on. Like I said, like 20 times, like he had a couple more chapters, the ending would have been fine. I just feel like because it just kind of just like there's just so much stuff that just wasn't dealt with that should have been dealt with. Like
Okay. Yes. Go ahead. Sorry. Finish
it's
up.
like I don't really have a problem with like the ending itself, like the peaceful ending. So I just have a problem
Yeah.
with how we got there, type thing,
Yeah.
pretty much. And just like there's just so much left unanswered.
Okay, somebody said who gave him that responsibility to handle a topic that way. When you
He
introduce
did.
topics like that, yeah, he literally gave it to himself. That's what I was going to come on to. Like when you introduce topics like that and whatnot, you have a certain way because people will interpret it in a certain way as well, right?
Yeah,
They'll,
no one is saying that we want him to do it a certain way. We're just saying
yeah.
he should treat it with respect and care.
Yeah, that's the main thing that needs to be done, because at the end of the day, if you're introducing the topics, you have to make sure you're handling it well, because people will perceive it in one way, and if you don't handle it well, the people who perceive it that way will take it incorrectly, right? Or
Yeah.
take it wrongly, or not appreciate it, or just see you as throwing it away to the side. That's the biggest
Yeah.
thing. And especially when you have a popular franchise such as this, and this goes for any franchise or show or anything, and it's the world we live in right now, unfortunately. But fortunately or unfortunately, depending on your perspective, I should say, authors and the creators of a series or anything have a responsibility and a role to handle it with care, at least at minimum.
Yeah, it's like if you're not going to really do anything with it, you probably just shouldn't touch on it at all. It's that type of deal. But yes,
Yeah.
like I said, I don't really have a problem with the ending. It's just the issues that it came up with, which is kind of like I want to say he was rushed with it. Like for some reason, I feel like he was very rushed with it. I feel like someone on the inside was like, "Yo, you got to end this shit now," type deal.
I think he might have rushed himself though. Like
Yeah,
he
he
wanted
probably
to
was
kick
just-
ending like too late, and it just created an issue where he was rushing himself because he's like, oh well.
And also saw someone
How
said,
do I do
"What
this?"
peaceful ending?" Question marks. Like, let's be fair. This is probably as peaceful as the ending could ever have been. Because like, there's
Yeah.
just so much
Yeah,
happening.
there was no way. There was no way they could have done a happier ending without it being probably worse to the series, arguably. That's why we're saying like it's not. It's definitely not the worst thing out there. Like it's still a okay ending. It's just it needed a lot more to it than what we got.
Like I said, just a couple more chapters. I think you wrapped it up properly.
I think minimum at least one or two more, and we would have been happier. To be honest,
Yeah.
Yeah,
two
for
more would
sure.
have been like perfect. I think 141 would have been great.
Because
I,
like,
I think the entire Armin and Eren convoy should have been one chapter.
Yes, I think if they'd fleshed that out a lot more, given a little bit more to both of them, it would have been better because it just felt like, yeah, it just felt like there was it was just rushed and we only got like a little bit of them, which wasn't their best like character moments, arguably as well. Yeah, there
Here's
was
the-
no way Aaron was gonna
Okay.
die. There was no, I mean,
Okay,
after
but we're talking
138,
about
yeah,
we're talking about the same series where Levi is still alive.
that is also true.
True.
I mean, he's not
Let's talk about the same
necessarily
series where Aaron
wrong.
did also get his head blown off at some point, so they could have had some bullshit.
I mean, yeah, he's then that both of them are not necessarily wrong there. Like that, considering all things said and done, yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure he could have pulled something out where Aaron survived with that.
Yeah, he didn't handle it well, but he didn't handle it horribly either.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It was just there, like it just felt like it was there, which was
I respect it for at least
fair.
touching on it.
Yeah, like
But
he at
I
least
think
did it.
yeah, like I think he handled it well before this final chapter.
Yeah.
But yeah, like it's like you said, he didn't handle it terribly, but he didn't handle it super well either.
Yeah. No, there's a lot of stuff that happened from like the Beast Titan Levi onwards that just raises a lot of questions and questions that we still don't know answers to. Kind of Borderlands, like Levi tanking that explosion is still like to this day I'm gonna be questioning it, bro.
You know what they could do with the anime? Because like he doesn't have to change the ending. I feel like he could add like the extra like answers and stuff into the anime
Yeah.
version. I feel like that could be a possibility, even if it's just like a whole separate movie or something.
Yeah, like I said, I think it would be nice to just have like him get a bit more to it, and then maybe like an OVA or something after that, maybe for his original ending or something if he really wants it.
Yeah. Because like I said, like the ending itself, like the concept of the ending isn't bad. It's just the execution, I guess you say. Kind of like Dragon Ball GT.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
the execution just wasn't as good as it should have been.
I think like yeah, there's really not. I mean, I'll still like I said, I'll still give the whole series a 7.5. The ending itself is a 6, but you know, that's just my opinion.
What if they make the anime is the true ending just to hype anime watchers?
Man, I'm just thinking about how back in Trost, Armin. You remember how the first time Eren turned into a Titan, and then that guy, like they were scared of him, and then they were like trying to like shoot him with the cannons.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just remembering how Armin gave like an extremely convincing speech, and like they were still scared, and they were about to shoot him down, and then I think about this chapter, and you know, the commander or Muller or Secretary Muller, who has been brainwashed most of his life, just saw a bunch of Eldians turn into Titans, and Armin makes an even less convincing speech, and he lowers his guns. Like, if that was realistic, I'm led to believe that he would have shot them.
Oh yeah, the whole like they turn to Titans just to like fake us out and be like, oh no, actually they're back now. Don't worry, nothing bad happened.
Man,
They also
yeah.
didn't shoot him. Don't question it.
Alright, Charco, you didn't
Yeah.
get to really talk about what you want for your ending, because we talked about at one point where like when Gabby shot Aaron, that could have been
Oh yeah,
like
that I think could have been if he was gonna kill Aaron anyways. I think that it could have been the ending right there. Is Gabby shot Aaron, and then the world had to come to a solution, like almost without Titans or something along the line. You'd still have like the whole Ymir stuff you have to deal with. But I don't know. Again, having like Mikasa just kind of thrown in there is like you're the most important character in the series now because it just felt weird. Oh, cool. I got one shot Nocturne. Thanks.
Yeah, they did squash it before. Sorry to interrupt you. They did squash it before, but then they literally saw them turn into Titans again. So I think that fear would have been there, but it's fine.
Yeah, I don't know. I think Gawi killing Eren could have been a great ending. Because again, a lot of the rumbling, I question a lot of it. A lot of things were added for seemingly no reason. Again, Heaven was weird to me. I don't understand why that was added if the real only thing was to just give a happy ending with like Levi and Connie and Jean.
Oh man, I'm actually so mad about that fake out shit because I think Jean and Connie got pretty decent deaths.
Yeah, like all the like Attack on Titan season 1. Remember when all the cadet scouts were like, "Yeah, it's our first mission," and all 7 of them got massacred within 30 seconds, right?
Yeah.
And that's a permadeath thing. Like that subjected our expectations of power friendship. Like, yeah, like we're friends. We can do this, and they'll die. And then you go to here now, and it's like, yeah, we're all friends. We did that in an even less realistic situation. We managed to do that.
Oh no! What's really cringe to me is how like it was their reactions after being turned like back into after the curse is gone. They're like all thanking Eren and shit after he just like committed genocide. And it's like, oh bro, this is so bad.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are kind of forgetting that. Yeah, Aaron's an emotional kid, but he did also commit genocide. 80% of the entire world is gone.
There's a certain someone else that if you were to say they're emotional, people just still see them as evil. But with Eren, it's like, oh yeah, he's allowed to be emotional.
Bro, in one of the translations, Reiner was literally like, "Eren, what a man you are."
I saw that one.
I was like, bro, are you fucking kidding me? And bro, you know, Peak, like, I swear to God, like a few chapters ago, she was like, "Oh, Eren was never my friend, by the way," and she was like, "Oh, perish nightmare," and then in this chapter, she's like, "Oh, I wish I could have talked to him." Like, bro, make your mind up.
Yes, Carson, that's who I was hinting at. I don't want to say it because I have to bleep out so much as this.
Yeah. I wanted more explanations on the Ymir part. I mean, I just wanted more explanations, period. I felt like, again, I think somebody mentioned it. Afro said this as well. Like, it's too open ended, man. That's the biggest problem I'm having. Is just like there's too much to left to interpretation, and that's leading to like people having different opinions way too much.
How the fuck has Reiner stayed alive? I like my favorite meme is that Reiner's just been a punching bag the entire series. Like every time he's on the screen, he's just getting the shit beat out of him.
Or I mean, even in the end, he got insulted at as well for, you know, the way they portrayed him with the Historia again.
Yeah, that I can't say that out loud, but yeah.
Yeah, Ymir's intentions are just, oh man, I just hate it.
It doesn't really help that they're kind of, the ending feels a bit too romanticized as well as is a problem I'm also having as well, considering romance has never been the strongest point or the selling point of the series, like as the thing of like, oh, that's the thing that's gonna solve everything, right?
Yeah. Wait, Josh, can you get a chapter up, please?
Yes, I mean, like, I can pull it up.
It's okay.
Because while okay, I don't mind that it is a factor. The fact that it was the factor is a problem in my opinion.
Yeah, it broke the curse, and like I was saying, it broke the curse, and them getting rid of the ability to turn into Titans made it easier to like solve the issues.
Yeah.
Kill
I mean, if
just
I
a
was a
romance
romance
simp?
sim, I would have loved this ending if it was. If I was. I mean, I love my rom-coms. I mean, I'm still maintaining Kaguya-sama's freaking goated,
Oh,
you know.
what happened there? Wait, hold
What's
on,
up?
Josh. Try that. Oh, I was sending something to Josh.
Yeah. But I mean, there's so many other good mangas / rom-coms.
Oh, this
but,
exact page?
Yeah, that page.
Yeah, Ymir, the romanticization of Ymir and Fritz was a bit extra.
Okay,
in my
scroll
opinion.
down. Look at Armin there. Wait, no. No. Just look at what he says here. Just look at what he says here, bro. And
And then the
and then
previous
compare
chapter's
it
like,
to what,
thank you.
and then compare it to what he says in 139, bro. Wait, can you get it? Wait, let me get the page up and you can put it side by side.
Yeah, like STK, that's pretty much what we've been saying, is that it just needed a lot more
Oh wait, hold on,
time.
wrong thing.
Like,
Wait.
it has its issues for sure. Nah, Aaron had the
I think
Aaron
Aaron
dying
was
is
always
not
gonna
dying.
die.
Yeah, that's not a bad thing, I think, in my opinion. Had there been different ways to go about it, or like the lead up had been different, maybe then I would have argued against that, him dying. But what we've seen so far and everything, it was going to lead him up to him having to die by somebody's hand, be it Levi,
But-
Mikasa, Armin, whoever.
Guys, I just can't take this seriously, bro. Like, are you kidding me? Oh my god. Like, bro, Armin, okay, the thing is, John even says that the reason Eren is doing this is for us. And then Armin says, oh no, this is going too far. But then in this chapter, he finds out yet again that he was doing it for them. But look, his reaction is completely different. Like, what the fuck?
It's
Mhm.
like, I won't let
it-
his air go to waste. Like it was like, you kind of messed up, but it's fine. We can
Thanks,
work with
Armin.
it.
Oh my god, it's
That is
just
great.
so bad. It's so bad because it like they in 124 he's literally like, oh, Eren is doing this for us, and in 139, oh, you did this for us. You became a mass murderer for us. I can't take it seriously, bro.
It actually
Oh.
ruined both their characters at once.
I mean,
slightly.
yeah, no, they definitely tried doing the. Isayama basically looked at Code Geass and was like, "Yeah, let me try and do that," but didn't really do it as well.
No, he
Sadly.
tried to humanize Eren a bit more. That's what he tried to do, but it's just,
Yeah,
oh, he did it in such a poor way.
that's also another thing, was the humanization for
Brother.
Aaron. So does that mean Gene knew and understood Aaron better than his best friend? Clearly, I mean,
Garlic Jr. coming to Dragon Ball Legends? Doubt.
definitely.
Oh man, it's just sad, man.
And there's a lot
You
of this.
asked Aaron to do any of that. Yeah, none of them asked Aaron to do any of that. Like
Yeah.
you're completely correct. But the thing that's like the thing that's insane to me is Armin's reaction, because Jean says to Armin, what does he say? Let me get the thing up. I never imagined he'd plan to slaughter everyone outside the walls. But if they all disappear, so will all the hatred. All the enemies that have ever threatened our existence, flattened, blank, empty, is all that will be left. What the people on the other side of the sea feared most came true, and it's because they labeled us as devils and tried to kill us all. So this is just something those outsiders brought upon themselves. There was nothing we could have done, right? So he talks about not Armin. He talks about Aaron's thought process. He says, "Okay, Aaron's doing this for us because the people on the outside just saw us as devils." And then Armin says, "This is going too far. A massacre on a scale that's never been seen before." And then we see in this chapter, Aaron's like, "Yeah, I destroyed the world for you guys, to give you guys hope or whatever." And then Armin's like, "Oh, thank you." Oh,
Let me show this to crew because at first reaction was pretty funny to me. Right?
Bro, his Twitter reactions were too good, bro. Because I saw him saying like, "Oh, it's an 8 out of 10," and he enjoyed it, and he was
It is
trying
like
to head,
7
he
out
was
of
trying
10, I
to head
think.
cam-
yeah, bro.
Yeah.
My
LMFAO.
comment. Yeah, look at my
Glad you like
comment run on the road. He changed his mind. Oh man, glad you like it, man. By the way,
Because
wait. So
'cause,
did he ever talk about the chapter in full detail, or like in a different stream, or did he just
I
not
don't
do that?
I don't think he did. I only saw the one that he said like, oh, he was trying to kind of, I don't know if it. I mean, I guess it's headcanoning it a bit, but it's actually the way Isayama wanted to be interpreted. It was the whole thing with like Mikasa, the whole love thing with Mikasa and Ymir and everything. And I was like, yeah, I don't know about that one, Chief, but I don't think he did a stream after.
Oh, look, Afro has the same idea that I've mentioned. I forgot. If it had 2 more
all we had to do
chapters.
to save the world or remove the Titans was for Mikasa to kill Eren, that Eren might as well have just asked Mikasa to kill him before the rumbling even happened. But I don't think it's about that. I think well, the way what Isayama tried to say is that the reason Ymir was set free is because she saw Mikasa let go of someone she loves, which to me is still completely stupid and came out of nowhere. So like he still could have had this outcome like a few chapters after he started the rumbling. So it's just really confusing. I'm not a fan of the execution. It's just
Which is really weird because this it's not like Isayama to just like I don't want to say forget stuff, but like
what,
contradict what he's done
no,
before.
what makes people, bro? People are saying. I saw someone say, "Oh, this is like, people shouldn't have had such high expectations for the ending and or whatever." Bro, Isayama was delivering like peak chapters after peak chapter for like what 4, 5, 6 years, maybe even longer than that. So of course people had high expectation. Like we had absolutely no reason to doubt him. There was like everything about Attack on Titan was cohesive. It made sense. Like everything just added up perfectly. So when it's like I was saying, we literally had no reason to doubt him. So seeing how like contrived and just how out of nowhere some things appeared, it hurts.
Like me and
it hurts.
Churko, like even in like sorry to cut you off, but like even at like 137, it's like
Yeah.
okay, it's Isayama. We have hope. Then 138 comes out, I was like, oh no, there's no way he wraps this up in the next chapter. And then, long behold,
You know what? Because man, I was thinking about 138, and I was originally conflicted on it, and then I read a really interesting interpretation of the chapter. I was like, oh shit, I think this might be one of the better chapters in the series. But then this one came out, and it just kind of ruined it for me. And I've been saying this the entire time. This path, like I think it could have made sense, but he just didn't execute it right, unfortunately.
I guess anyone in chat who thought it was a good ending or it was satisfying to you, you want to take as many paragraphs as you want. I'm curious to think why you thought it might be a good ending or a satisfactory ending. And
yeah, for sure.
and while y'all do that, I pull up the Gaming Claw's reaction to the chapter.
Oh god. Nah, on a real though, if you guys enjoy the chapter, I am completely jealous because like I just can't. Bro, I was man.
Dude, we were just me and Choker and VC was like, I can't wait to see Alex's reaction.
For you to
yeah,
about it.
Bro,
like, correct about
it. Bro, no, just go down, man. Go back to my very first tweet when I first spoke about it. No, keep going.
Go down.
Go down.
Why did you go up?
Oh yeah, dude. This one, by the way, me and Choco thought you got divorced or something when we saw this tweet at first.
Oh. Oh, that? Oh,
yeah,
God.
my heart drops like, no way.
Oh, bro.
Like if we didn't know that it was about Attack on Titan, somebody could actually look at that like you broke
and be like,
up
wait, oh, poor guy. Yeah, this is my first reaction to it, bro. No, you missed it. Go up. It's the one with like 2K likes.
Okay,
Yeah,
Mr.
so-
Clout Lord.
Josh, where you going?
Where am I going? Where am I going?
Up.
I'm looking for
go
the
up, man.
2K lights.
Yeah, go up. What's up?
Up.
Wait, because the stream is behind. Josh, it's the one where I mentioned the character assassination.
Oh yeah. Wait. Oh, yeah, April 4th was before, right?
April 7th. It's April 7th.
Oh, this one. The one I like to retweet. Yeah. This one?
Wait.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, look, there's my reply.
Yeah. This is what I said, man.
Solado, you're saying we're trolling, right? Like, wait, do you mean for bashing the chapter or like even just messing around on Twitter? I think it's a good chapter. I am very curious what people thought of it as a good chapter. Like when you consider everything AOT had been building up to, who Aaron's character, Aaron and Armin. I didn't even consider how butchered Armin's character was.
Yeah, I didn't even think
And
about that
then-
until we pulled up the
every-
side-by-side panel. I was like, wow, okay. It's like, here's
And
another
then
thing.
So, oh man.
So, like, I know there's so many people, like, I don't think you should be attacking people because they like or didn't like the ending and you did the opposite.
Definitely not. Don't do
Yeah, I
that.
feel like we all read the story like we have like I invest 8 years into it. Everyone here has invested 8 years into it. We're all like entitled to our like opinion on it, right? I don't think it's right to just attack someone because they don't agree with you.
Oh man, it's so
Mm.
frustrating because I've seen so many people be like, "Oh, you just didn't understand it. It just didn't fit your head canon. You didn't understand Aaron and blah blah blah." And it's like,
My favorite is
bro,
the classic.
the
You just
reason
don't
why
know how
we're
to read.
yeah, bro, the reason why we're so mad is because we did understand it.
Yeah, like I feel
It-
bad like when people say, "Oh, you just didn't understand." And it's like, no, I'm pretty sure you didn't, because you are by far the most in-depth person I've ever met with Attack on Titan. So
Yeah,
it's
like you make like
I-
20 tweet threads every chapter.
like every time I'm just waiting for your reactions on Twitter. Like, oh, there we go. And then when I saw that you agreed with like the character assassination stuff, I'm like, yeah, I'm pretty sure we're right about this, because you would be the one to understand the character more than 99% of the people.
yeah, and I've read some threads and they're like, "Oh, I just want people to like I want people to understand Aaron better," and I'm like, "Well, the thing is, like, what you're saying makes sense, but the things in the chapter don't back what you're saying, you know?
Yeah.
Like, it's kind of like the people trying to make sense of Aaron in this chapter did the work for Isayama, if you get what I'm saying. They're like they filled in the gaps that Isayama should have filled in himself."
Yeah.
Oh, brother.
Poor Attack on
Yeah,
Titan.
I'm pretty I actually made a thread prior to the chapter, and I thought that there would be a similar thing where Eren would entrust Armin with like the future and I guess hope for the future or
Oh,
whatever,
yeah,
if you
this
want to
thread?
put it that way. Huh?
This thread?
I can't see it right now, but I think you're putting it up. Yeah. I actually thought that thread. I thought that Eren was going to show them some sort of hope, and then he would entrust Armin with the future.
By the way, this is why
But
me and Choco wait for Alex's reaction. Look how long this fucking thread is.
Like Alex is the go-to guy for AOT.
Yeah.
yeah, so
That's just how
man,
long the thread is, by the way. There's a lot more to that. It's condensed because
Yeah, I have a lot
Yeah,
of AOT
sure do.
stuff muted.
so I thought, okay, the conversation between Armin and Eren is definitely going to happen, right? But like there was something missing that just stopped connecting Eren's desires to this ending.
It remutes all
And
the tweets after you go back up. Sad. But yeah.
yeah, because I was really expecting him to, like, I was expecting this to have like a powerful, hopeful message, you know?
Oh, look, the
And
ducks. You foreshadowed.
Oh, yeah. How do you feel about that? Because we've known Paz has like connection to Eldians and Old Life Force as long as it's
Since like
animals.
season
kind of?
2.
Like animals and Eldians are connected, but everyone else
I
kind
don't
of
know. I
isn't.
don't know. I don't know. I don't know, man. I don't know anymore.
Yeah, that was the whole thing about like animals. So was it Beast Titans or animals? I forgot. I think it was just Beast Titans, right? That could transform into like whales or whatnot for some reason, and that's why
I think
whales were in the second opening.
I think that was just trying to be symbolism in the opening.
Just life
from
in
them.
general.
Yeah.
So Paz can connect to a bird if Aaron wants. So is Aaron just like chilling in Paz? Is he just like hanging out with Ymir now?
No, I think the past is gone. But
Mhm.
okay, like that's what I didn't like. I think Eren, like, I'm trying to piece it together like for a thread at some point. But I think somehow Eren should have reached the point where he replaces Ymir in the paths.
That'd be
Somehow.
pretty cool.
I think that would have been better for his arc, because I think death is too easy for Eren. You know, I
Yeah.
feel like after everything he's done, I think him, like, to Eren, living is freedom. Like, when you're born into the world, you are free. So if he's in the paths, he's not dead, but he isn't alive either. So he isn't technically free. Like, he wouldn't
So
be technically free with that sort of ending. But
what
him
is
replacing Ymir would kind of like stop the curse.
what's up with that bird, Alex? Do you know?
It's just I'm guessing it's just symbolism.
But like
Yeah.
it directly went for the scarf, man. I think it's it's symbolism, but at the same time, it's way too like on the nose that I feel it's meant to be more than just symbolism.
You know it's funny. After 138 came out, they announced that there was going to be like the chapter was 45 pages, and the 45th page was the Armin stuff on the boat. So, like, did he just add the Mikasa stuff as fan service, or
Probably.
at the
I
end?
assume so.
The whole second half of the last chapter felt like fan service with Reiner smelling them out. I still can't get over what they did to Reiner's character. How do you go
Bro,
from wanting to kill yourself because of the atrocities you've committed against people you once called your like friends and comrades, and then you're like, oh my god, her handwriting smells beautiful. Like,
Yeah, we don't know what.
So
Yeah,
that's kind of
we saw how she got the powers, but we don't know what that thing is.
Is this one of those times where I wish we could just talk to Isayama ourselves? And like, yo, what's the reason for this?
You know the thing about the Titan powers is before we got 122, I genuinely thought we were going to get like several chapters dedicated to that stuff, but like a lot of exposition, like the basement reveal, and you know when it came out, I loved it. It was my second favorite chapter in the series, but now in hindsight, I'm like, right, I kind of wish he dug deeper into this stuff.
because it was never really explained. And it came in 138, and then it just kind of dipped after. Like, yeah, I'm just gonna.
Yeah,
Again, it's just the worst Black Zetsu.
it's very vague, and I think it works before, but now not really.
Chat, I just want y'all to know that Charcoal keeps shitting on Black Zetsu, but that's his favorite character from Naruto.
What? Madara.
Chat, don't let him fool y'all. He always talks about how much he loves Black Zetsu.
No.
To be honest, speaking of
Oh,
Black
was it Black or
Zetsu,
White Zetsu? I forget which one.
to be honest, speaking of Black Zetsu, this just felt like it was Obito Uchiha V2 with Eren as well, which was I wasn't a big fan of it either, to be honest.
Oh yeah, I remember someone made that direct comparison between him having his breakdown and like Obito, and I was like, oh no.
You know,
Yeah.
there is some parallels to it, and then you also look at like Boruto, how pretty soon after, a couple years, and it's all happy. But in Naruto's world, Naruto and Sasuke actually made peace. Eren killed a lot of people and made it way more unstable, but they were still happy being old buddy, old pals. I still don't get how that happened. Again, it's like, yeah, they had to commit all these war crimes as little terrorist children because they're kind of forced to. But then it was so cruel of Annie to do the yo-yo stuff.
Why are you so stuck on the yo-yo stuff?
Because, bro, that was so brutal, dude. She walked, twirled him, and then like chucked horses. Dude, that was brutal for no reason.
Leave my
She
girl
did not
alone. She's having fun.
That's kind of the problem, dude.
Leave Annie alone.
She's not having fun with
Look.
that.
Look,
Yeah, like-
Isayama gave her karma by ruining her character. It's fine.
True. You know what? True. But that's what I mean. It's like all of that they did, and then they're just
Wait.
old friends at the end, hanging out. And then
Just
you have
before the
Gabby,
chapter.
you have Piek, and they're all
Was
chilling.
Eren doing all this because he saw that it was the future? Yeah, he did. He said that in the chapter. He did all of this because that's what he saw in the future. But there's so much in the previous chapters that contradicts this. So it's whatever.
My problem is he says he can see the future, so he knows what would happen, and then his reasoning for doing it was, I don't know, I just kind of did. So it was never really.
I just did it, bro.
We didn't have Ymir. Like, if Ymir had actually controlled him to get to this end or something, then fine. But all we know is Eren just chose to do this because, yeah, he saw the future. Again, you cannot defend that this is a good end, like for the Eldians, because they have no offense, they have no defense, they have one train. The rest of the world hates them. It's not good for them. They've been in negotiations for 3 years. It's not a good end. Eren would have seen this, and he still went ahead with it without being forced. No destiny type bullshit or anything like that.
Man was like, "Yeah, I'm done here. You guys can continue. I'm out of here. Peace."
I had my fun.
Yeah,
Okay,
y'all
sure
handle this stuff,
else
not me.
or something, or the centipede. I don't know. Centipede thing. He decided to show Eren a false future, and then he asked, "Well, how did this fail? You showed me that if I had done this, it would have succeeded, and it would have given everyone, a good world." And then there's some people was like, no, I just wanted to create unbalance in the world. There's too much or something. I don't know, whatever bullshit explanation. But Aaron wasn't forced to do anything, and he just made it worse. It just made Aaron out to be a pure villain rather than like an anti-hero or tragic hero. He's just a pure villain in all of this. Like, he didn't do anything that helped the island people. He just made them more hated, killed 80% of the population because he wanted to.
Yeah, that
Okay.
someone said in chat the ending was rushed. I feel like that's just the general consensus. Like, I feel like he could have nailed this if he had like a couple more chapters, right? Like, I know I keep saying it, but I really feel like that's the thing.
You know, he keeps saying in this chapter he said that he kept moving forward for this result. And if you go back to chapter 90 at the ocean, he's saying, if we kill all our enemies out there, will we finally be free? He's like sort of like proposing this question, but he already knows what's going to happen once he does all of this, so it just confuses me even more.
Yeah, that it 100% is a changed ending. The original ending had to have been something like everyone actually died, and then Aaron just took all the like burden of the sins committed, and he became Adam Jesus 3.0 type thing.
In a way, like now with the knowledge from this chapter, it kind of feels like Aaron was led by destiny / fate instead of his own desires and his own.
But nothing was ever like shown for that destiny.
Yeah, exactly. But
is what confuses me because
what
all we
made
know is he
yeah
doesn't.
Choco.
what made Aaron a very captivating character to me, especially in the time skip, is how like he saw these memories of the future, and especially in 131, he knows that he's going to kill these people, and you know when he sees that kid that he ends up saving, he's like, oh, why would I even save this kid? You know, I'm going to end up killing him anyway, and he ends up saving him because that's who he is as a person. And what made that aspect interesting is that everything is going to go the way that he saw in his future memories because of who he is. He is a slave to his own self and who he is as a person. And I think making it so that it was just all destiny and fate or whatever gets rid of the kind of makes him a bit hollow and reduces the complexity of his character. Does anyone have anything to add to that?
No, you nailed it.
The ending just made his character so much less than it should have been. And it just
It's,
his character.
to me, it just makes his character very hollow. He was a slave for destiny. Yeah, yeah. He was a slave for the future that was set out in front of him, but the difference for me is that he was a slave to the destiny that he set out for himself, not someone else's plan. I guess if you get what I'm saying, there's a fine line there.
Yeah, I had always thought that the reason he was trying to push everyone away is because he had like a Doctor Strange thing where he saw many different potential futures. And he saw that if he had gone down like the path of I don't want to kill everyone, or if I went with the plan but I didn't push my friends away, I would have been talked down. And that's why he had, the table scene where he pushed everyone away. Like, I need to do this on my own. I hate all of you. Like, I thought it was all like a ploy to make them hate him, to get their hatred so that they tried to stop him or something.
Yeah, I get what you're saying,
Or he
and
tried to change the future, but he ended up not being able to. Like, he was locked into the destiny no matter what. Like, if he didn't do this, the outside world would have killed everyone. But he didn't want either one to happen, so he had to try to do anything to change his future. But he was never locked into anything, or it was never said he was locked into anything.
yeah, and like I'm just thinking now about like all the times that we saw like his attempts to find alternatives to the rumbling, and like I think it gets rid of that nuance where he feels like it's something that he has to do because there's like no other choice. This is like that's just the cruelty of the world. But now it's kind of like when you take into account this chapter, he's basically saying, "Oh, this is how like this is the ending I've been moving forward to the entire time," and I feel like in a way it kind of it makes me wonder why he was questioning these alternatives anyway. Like why would he be searching for these alternatives? Because he knows that like according to 139, he knows the path that he's going to go down will make him the bad guy, and it will make, I guess, Armin and the others look like good guys, and that'll make things easier for Paradis overall. I mean, that's what the final chapter is trying to say, right? And you know, in 139, or not 139, but before that, you know, during War for Paradis, we saw constantly how he was struggling to find another solution. Like, is there another way? And it just feels like his character was retconned, even if that wasn't what Isayama intended. I think it would have been much more convincing if Aaron's plan the entire time was in fact to destroy the entire world, but at some point he changed his mind because of something. Like he saw a different path at some point.
Mm-hmm.
You know, people say that the real Aaron is a post time skip one, but we had like what, almost 50 chapters with time skip Aaron. Like that's a lot. So
Yeah.
to say that everything about time skip Aaron was just a facade is just, no, I don't buy that.
No, I definitely disagree with that notion. I think that's all. Do we have anything
Well,
else
okay.
to
Well,
add?
I'm just gonna say maybe I will change my
Oh.
mind whenever I read. But
Mm-hmm.
as I am right now, I just don't get it. You know, yeah. What do you call it? What do you call it? Before, you know, people say that the real Eren is you know, the one that we saw in this chapter. Do people forget that 10-year-old Eren literally killed a bunch of kidnappers like it was nothing, and he tried to
Yeah.
justify it? Like, oh boy. Okay, I think that's everything.
But yeah, I think we can wrap up. Any last words from yourself, Iggy or Trucko?
I mean, we've pretty much covered everything that I could think of.
Do you want to give a final rate?
I actually feel better
Okay.
now after being able to talk about it to other people.
Yeah, no, it's good because being able to discuss this is a great way of like just getting stuff, because we get other ideas and perspectives and we kind of come to a conclusion, right?
Yeah.
And we can all agree that it would have been just better had we had more time. Effectively,
Yeah, no,
that's
that
it.
I'm not saying that killing the kidnappers is bad. It's how he tried to justify it. That's like, as a 10-year-old kid saying, "Oh, they had to die because they're animals." That's not normal. Like, that is not normal. Eren was not a normal kid from the start.
Yeah. Yes, the stream will be put up for a rewatch. We will be putting it up on, I was about to say Twitter for some reason, on YouTube tomorrow.
I don't know about
So about
tomorrow.
24
I don't know about tomorrow. It's
24
gonna take
hours,
me a
yeah.
bit. It's
Yeah.
it's gonna take a bit to sit through all. But I still have to finish that other video for waffles because that's
Yeah.
due soon. So we'll see.
So,
It'll be up
yeah.
soon, within the week.
oh, it better be up. But yeah, I think I guess do you want to give a rating to the series as a whole? I suppose, because I mean, I know the ending would probably
I
be like
can't right now,
5.
man. I can't.
No, fair enough.
I mean, for me, it's
I
probably like
can't.
it was like a 10 out of 10. But then like this last arc had a lot of questionable stuff for me, so it kind of bumped it down to like a 7 out of 10. I don't know. I guess we have to just wait because maybe the anime will fix. I have hope that he does like put some fixes in the anime because he's done that with like season 3, right? He had like a lot of stuff he cut out and some things he added. Because
Yeah.
I think it was mainly the politics stuff. He kind of just cut most of it out.
Mm-hmm. No, I feel you. on that
Oh,
one.
you're welcome. This was fun. This was fun. I enjoyed it.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Yo,
can
chat.
see with the whole thing being a botched mimicry of Code Geass's ending, it pretty much felt that way as well. I'd say 7 out of 10 as well from my end. 7.5. I still enjoyed the series as a whole. I
Yeah.
can't say
It still has like
bad,
legitimately 2 of my top 3 anime moments ever are still from AOT. So like I can't hate it too much.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm a
I
6
mean,
out of half. around a
I
10.
think I do believe, however, like endings do matter heavily. Like
Yeah.
Darling in the Franxx is the perfect example of a bad ending, and many more as well. But and where to the point where the rest of the series just is so like heavily impacted by it, and this is no different, to be honest. I'll say 7.5 out of 10.
Yeah, it's the series is just like the ending is bad, but like this rest of the series is just so good. Like you can't really bump it down too much.
Yeah.
I still think Levi, Hanji, and Flock, that those all alone are probably like my lowest points on top of the ending, which is why I have 6.5.
Yeah, I think
Because
Levi.
Flock still,
Levi is my biggest
Bro,
issue.
come on, guys. Connie is right there. Come on,
Okay, but
Connie's right there, man. Come on, come on. Be
Flock's death, like how Flock died. She should have just died on the our initial port, not somehow made onto the boat and then come in through the back door. I don't get how he would have left the hangar to come around to the side door. Because I spent like an hour and a half in VC with Igna looking at the hangars, seeing how it would have made sense for the.
this man literally pulled out Photoshop to calculate Hanji's death.
And Hanji's death is fine, I guess, if you wanted to use anime bullshit to make it make sense that, oh, the extra Titan she killed was enough to get away, but she didn't really need to. But Flock just straight up got out of the boat at some point or went to the side without anybody noticing and then came into the side door.
man, you know what I noticed? Like, okay, so they reach the port at night, right? And then the rumbling. I'm just wondering where the fuck did Flock spend the night?
Again, that's why he was in the boat. They looked at the boat. They took the tarp off. He would have had to hide in a different hangar or somewhere to
Bro,
come into
you're
the side door.
completely correct. Holy shit.
No way. Flock to have actually been there. And that is probably my lowest point of all of Attack on Titan because everything
so
else
funny.
makes sense of. Flock, I don't know.
There goes the drilling.
Literally just to shoot the boat to give a reason for Hanji to die.
Levi is my biggest issue. That sucks because he's my third favorite character, but like he should have died. Like, come on. At least make him crippled or something, because like there's no way he could have survived that, because that was stupid enough as is. Like on top of him surviving that, he was also fighting. Like, yeah, he's also fighting like a couple chapters later. Which I know that this is stupid to mention, but if odium gear was real, you fucking rip your spine out if you try to use that shit. So Levi was like half injured, he's running around in that shit from an explosion that should have killed him to begin with. And it was just so stupid to me.
Yeah, Ackerman scenes, to a certain extent, were when the horse behind Levi catches on fire and Levi doesn't, or he's not even in a worse spot. The horse was behind him. Levi blocked the initial explosion from the horse, and that horse still died.
Yeah, I understand.
Flying.
I understand our Ackerman powers, but like the explosion is stuff that they use to knock the armor off a Reiner, and you could kill regular Titans with it. And he
Flock
survived.
was clinging to the boat for the entire day, bro. Goddamn.
Yeah,
he was shot. Like, wasn't he already shot once?
No, he's got upper strength of a madman,
Bro,
dude. Let me
he's
tell
built
you.
different. He's built different.
You know, I get, like, I personally don't agree with the Levi stuff and like him surviving the explosion. I think it's fine, but like the best thing about this chapter by far was his conclusion.
Yeah, I'll still maintain Levi is probably the only character who came out of this like somewhat good.
I like that, but again, that's my whole problem of Heaven was introduced just to give them a happy ending. There was no other real reason for it to exist. I mean, you had the Titan shifters come back, but that could have just been Paz creating them out of sand and like hollow husks.
We already mentioned
I
Zeke.
mean-
Zeke's death was completely pointless after the last chapter.
The only thing Zeke managed to do was the whole thing of like, oh, no more Titans. But even then, it was like that was not the way I wanted it to be, bro. God damn.
Yeah, it's Paz, but it's like, yeah, I know, I'm calling it Heaven because that's what it's kind of is. It's like
basically
Paz
what
Heaven.
it is.
Like that whole, because it's something like when you go to a fancy hotel room and they list off like, you know, you get the free shampoo, you get like a stock cooler of wine, all included, and then you get there and there's like a baguette on the bed, right? Technically, it's not mentioned in your all-inclusive package to that hotel, but it exists, right? The free bread. That's how the Heaven Paz feels to me. Is it doesn't need to really be explained because Paz itself is something that you can just add to it without needing explanation. But for it to really not be used in any way, aside from just giving it a happy ending with the characters at the end, it also confused me is because when Hanji went there, they were also kind of like, oh, hey, you're here now. And nobody seemed to be really caring. Like, Erwin was like, Jesus, Aaron, what the fuck are you doing? Nothing like that. He was like, oh, hey, Hanji, how goes it? Yeah, we're all just
Yeah,
here.
welcome to death.
Are they is it memories of them? What even is that? They're all just hanging out. Is there a god in that world? Is that are they in Paz Heaven and normal heaven?
You remember we had a theory that like they just pull some crazy shit and just Aaron with all his powers and stuff, he just turns out to be God at that point.
Yeah, because what? Yeah, Aaron did when he destroyed the walls, he took off he undid the hardening, which was Reiner's armor and Annie's crystal.
Yeah, that was how Annie got released. Which I wish she had just stayed in the crystal at that point.
There's still like a lot of unanswered questions that I don't think we'll ever really get answers to, unfortunately. But if we ever do get like a what if type thing. Also, Alex, have you read that like additional manga like Before the Fall or whatever?
No, I haven't read that.
Because I just recently learned about it, and I don't imagine it's like good.
Well,
'Cause I don't-
probably I don't think it is.
I don't think it was written by Isayama, and it's
No.
probably contradicted heavily by everything.
The Levi one is good.
I gotta pee again, guys. I'll be back.
Oh, there was the
Oh.
Levi manga that was the OVA.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah, I think that one's pretty good.
Rico made it alive, so that's cool. What happened to her, by the way?
Oh no, what
Mm.
happened to Yellow though?
Oh yeah, true. But like,
I
Rico,
literally
she was
no
she was
idea.
a
Right?
character, and then she just wasn't. She was more relevant in the junior high.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Well, the video will be cut or just raw stream. It'll be probably slightly cut, but it's mainly just censoring, and then it'll be like a 2 hour long thing.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
we'll probably have it up, Monday or Tuesday.
Yeah, we'll probably wrap it
Bro,
up soon as well. But yeah.
He's gonna have to edit like 2 hours of content.
Yeah.
Well, he's just putting up our logos on screen, so it's not like anything. It's not like anything intensive editing wise. All he'll have to do is just like when you send him a chapter, he'll just put it up on screen. Oh,
Yeah.
maybe.
No, he can. He'll be able to.
Okay.
I mean, he should have like the stream recorded as well, like the screen of the stream as well, right? So he can
Yeah,
just
even
take
if
the
not, he can
moment.
just
Then.
take the pod.
Yeah.
Yeah, this will
It'll
be
be
on
fun.
YouTube. And of course, I guess while we're here this last little bit, do you guys have any questions that maybe we can try to explain or we'll just all be confused about together? Of course, you have Alex, the biggest AOT nerd around, basically, that I know. So maybe he might be able to help you guys out if you have any questions or I guess any theories you guys have to wrap it up.
Yeah.
Even just Paz, Alex, if you want to go ahead and, I guess, link your graph in chat, probably still have it somewhere.
Oh boy, which one are you talking about?
Paz one, explaining Paz, because really the only new additions to Paz were kind of the heaven thing, and that's about it.
Well, I have one about the 121 plot twist. If that's what you're talking about.
Yeah, really anything.
Alright, let me try to get it up.
Because Paz is something that like I'm still kind of confused about because it's still just kind of an
Right,
infinite
chat.
type thing.
I got something for y'all to do, okay? I need y'all to go do one thing on Twitter for me, chat. I need y'all to go and type this out. Just copy paste this. There we go.
True.
Alex.
Want to join 5-9? Listen, we'll happily take you, dude.
Okay.
100%. And if you want to do anime, manga stuff, I know there's people needed here. Gail, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Alright, I just put it in the chat.
Caliber.
Oh, this guy.
August 17th of 2020. Man.
Yeah, here I'll link it in chat for y'all. Here is a great thread explaining Paz and kind of what it is. Like, look at this,
Wow.
just bro, so much to it.
Yeah, if y'all aren't following Alex, he'll follow him, especially like AOT. He goes through all of his threads.
I'm probably gonna be bitching for a while, but yeah.
Yeah. Choco's cat at 1080p win when Choco gets good
He was
technology.
born low rendered. I'm sorry, he was just born as 240p.
We got like 6 more minutes to kill, so.
Yeah, we could kill.
Did
6
anyone
minutes.
say if they had any questions or anything like that?
You know,
Not that I noticed.
5-9 Q&A with the gaming call. Gil Knight,
I'm
how
good.
are you?
I'm definitely very good. Enjoying other manga.
Oh man, I don't know if I can get into anything else now.
Yeah.
I mean, it's all stuff that I've already been reading beforehand, so it's like
On the
just-
ending, I don't know if I'm going to make one specifically on the ending, but one that I think could have made the ending better.
yeah.
So be on the lookout for that. Go follow the Gaming Claw on Twitter.
Dude, Alex, just get into Persona. It'll never disappoint you. Also, JoJo. Those two will never
Oh
disappoint.
yeah, JoJo never
Yeah.
lets us down, dude.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of good things, to be fair.
Have you not actually? Have you never watched JoJo?
Nah.
Oh, dude. Listen, I know you're sad because of AOT, but JoJo will like make all the sadness go away.
Thought on AOT
Yeah, you're probably
beginning.
right.
Thought on AOT beginning. Oh, also true because JoJo is so like over the top and hyper. It's super fun, but except for season one. Season one's kind of but season 2 and on is great. Saw the AOT beginning. I mean, it's great.
I think that it could have been back to the ending better with like make us what happened to your hair was so short or long or whatever he said. Nah, I could have been tied a little better to the ending because again, I think there had to have been more to the ending time loop or something because at that point Aaron didn't have the attack titan, so he couldn't have seen future memories, and you said he can implant memories kinda so he was able to give Grisha memories before Grisha even had the attack titan because Aaron kind of just gave it to him before he even needed to have it, so as soon as he got it he was able to kind of remember it type thing.
Alex, are you experiencing chest pains?
No, thankfully.
Often in helping, how
Oh,
does it
good
make
thing.
sense that Aaron, when he woke up, knew about Mika's hair? Did he give his child self memories to unlock when he gained the attack titan, specifically that one?
I think I don't know.
Did Aaron
Like,
have
nothing makes sense anymore.
That's so sad, dude.
Yeah.
Have you been eating, Alex? Sleeping at least?
Oh yeah, I've been sleeping great, man.
I mean, you don't get the joke. It's because there's people on Twitter is like, "Oh, I haven't eaten in 3
Oh no,
days."
I get the joke, bro.
Yeah.
I get the joke. I've seen it.
I was like, "Bro, y'all overreacting hard. Like, come on, man."
Like, bro, I'm not surprised, man. Some people get way too attached in
Yeah.
like an unhealthy way.
Yeah, like I don't like the ending, and I'm very sad about it. I'm not gonna starve myself over it.
Yeah, like Rory, please, like honestly, if you're feeling that way, get some help. I beg.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
high key need therapy.
Mm-hmm.
You should not have like your mental health should not be affected by this.
There's dude who's
Oh,
like, I'm
I,
traumatized.
I refuse to believe that someone is actually starving themselves because of this ending.
No,
Like,
that was a good thing, man.
I don't believe it. There's no way.
Yeah, there's someone that replies like, I'm traumatized. I'll never trust an Arthur again.
I mean, I'm never going to trust an author again, but I'm not going to let that affect my mental health.
Yeah. Here it is. I got the screenshot. It's like it's traumatic. I don't want to watch anime again. At
What
least it didn't
concerns me
give
is
me.
it didn't necessarily ratioed either. Like there's more people that found it that agreed with them.
Yeah, it was pretty sad. Yeah, I don't know which one's sadder to me. Is just the ending being disappointing, or the fact that Attack of Titan's over after 8 years?
Nah, I'm disappointed.
Like, I don't know which
Like,
one.
I feel the same way that I feel after Game of Thrones. Like, it probably worse actually. Like, I don't think the ending is as bad as Game of Thrones, but like, I think I have a more of an attachment to like Eren and
Yeah,
even
dude.
just the series as a whole. So
I-
it just hurts more, and it's.
I remember you trying to get me the Game of Thrones so bad, and then like like a couple weeks later,
Yeah.
that whole season, I was like, oh, what the
You know what's
fuck?
insane, bro? Like, what Game of Thrones and Attack on Titan were like my top one series, and like Game of Thrones was like the only series that would have kind of like contest Attack on Titan for me, which is saying a lot because I don't find many series that I like as much as Attack on Titan. And you know, during the what do you call it? During that final season, it was like so dog shit, and I was like, and at the same time, season 3 part 2 was airing, and in that same year, we got all the Path stuff, and I was like, you know, Attack on Titan is doing what Game of Thrones couldn't do. It's being delivering
You
masterpiece
jinxed
chapters
us,
every time.
you British
Bro.
fucker.
It's so crazy. Literally, like, bro, if you told someone in 2019 that Isayama was going to fumble, no one would fucking believe you.
You
Like,
get fucking, you get doxxed. Like,
nah, yeah, bro. You get death threats. Like, no, you're a fucking idiot. Like,
Yeah.
that's not happening.
That's how
And,
much confidence we had in this man. They were like, "There's no way he's gonna fuck this up." Like, his writing was master class up until this point.
yeah, like literally, no one will believe you. And look at what happened, man.
British fucker sad, yeah. He fumbled him as hard as Kishimoto did. I don't know.
Bro, I've seen people say that the last few chapters of Naruto were better.
I know. I'd like Naruto's ending for the most part. I don't know. I guess I just wasn't as attached to Naruto as was AOT.
Yeah.
He's through for content.
I don't know,
He-
man. All I'm gonna say is like, if you like it, good for you. If you hate it, good for you too. Like, I think, I think this is one of the chapters where, I think, man, even though I disagree, I guess both sides are valid in a way. Like, I mean, not in a way. Like, both sides are valid. So, just be respectful at the end of the day. You know, people had. Like, don't say, "Oh, you just didn't understand this," or "You didn't understand that."
I've always hated that about AOT fans. Anytime you didn't like someone, oh, you just don't know how to read. It
Yeah,
was so annoying.
especially now with this ending, like it's just everywhere.
Yeah.
I think we can answer this last question, I suppose, is do you guys think the story would have been better if the author focused more on finding the cause of the Titans instead of going down the political route and introducing different races?
I don't think
Yeah.
so.
It's one of
Personally.
those situations where we'd have to see how he'd execute it to make the decision, really.
Yeah, like the political aspect is such a big part of it, and it like there's so many themes that I love because of this route. I don't think that would be better personally.
All right, what about you, Choco?
No, I think the political aspect of it added an entirely different layer to Attack on Titan.
Yeah, add a lot
That
more
wasn't really
depth.
seen. Yeah,
A lot more
lot of
depth that
depth
most-
that wasn't seen.
Yeah, that
I'm
most
sure
anime
it-
don't
that
get.
wasn't-
I feel it would have otherwise become a generic shonen as well.
Yeah, I was
agree.
thinking that too. Like, it just been too generic.
It would
And that's not
become
how-
kind of like the whole tailed beast situations in Naruto, where it's just like, oh, that's the key focus, pretty much, and then nothing else. But yeah,
And then it become
That's
kind of
what-
irrelevant.
and then
It's
become
never
irrelevant.
been a shonen, or it never tried to follow like the shonen standards. Like again, the first like season when everyone was like, "Oh, a bunch of people died," and then he just turned around and gave us its shonen ending. Like,
Yeah, it could have gotten both. To be fair.
Oh, no,
Yeah,
it's-
I agree.
The One Piece fans are gonna have a field day when their ending comes. That's gonna be a great day in
no one will be
Twitter.
alive.
I mean, true.
Yeah, the political, like the way that, like in my opinion, the way that Isayama handles all of that stuff is pretty much near immaculate. For most of Attack on Titan, but specifically Amali and Wolf of Paradise.
It's April, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So in like 8 months or something, we'll get part 2.
I hope.
Yeah, we'll get it in December/Jan. So yeah.
AOT Shippuden. Let's go.
Let's go.
All right, I think we can wrap up here.
Yep.
So
What's up, man?
I guess this is for the video. I'll just wrap it up. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed it, leave a like, subscribe to the 5-9 channel, follow us on our Twitch so you guys can see us complain more about AOT in the coming days, probably. Or any other manga, maybe, probably. follow the Gaming Claw on Twitter, of course, for his immaculate threads on the series, of course. But yeah, once again, appreciate you all for tuning in. We'll see you guys in the next one.
All right, peace out, dudes.
See ya.